I can live with you until old age. Maybe, Luna, don't cry. I'm here. We should be together forever. But I also need to stop my mistakes. I need to resolve all of this. Chapter 1, Little Pony. Hi. Are you okay? You don't seem very happy. Oh, you're overthinking, Time. I'm just fine. The thin boy crouched down and hugged the creature named Time. And Little Pony? What is he doing? His behavior is so strange, hugging air and talking to himself. Let's go. Let's go. Stay away from him. He might be a lunatic. I don't want to be suddenly harmed by a madman. The people around whispered and hurriedly walked away, distancing themselves from this bizarre boy. Time, how many times have you been talked about like this? I have no idea. Time playfully smiled back at him while tapping his hooves, gradually fading away. At night, the thin boy sat alone on the rooftop of an abandoned building, feeling the cold wind and reflecting on the day's events. It seems like we've never been treated well by anyone. Their malice is suffocating me. Their malice is like a tide, drowning me. My name is Yunyan. I'm a student. Just turned 18. I've suffered in this world. My parents were eliminated by competitors in their big business. That night, I watched them get killed. Since that day, I seem to have developed the ability to sense others' emotions. Those classmates who were once so friendly to me began to show a faint black aura that they couldn't hide. I knew that was disgust and malice. It turns out a person can really experience such drastic ups and downs. Later, they revealed their jealousy towards me. It was a deep black with a hint of blush. Very beautiful, but not pleasant. The smell made me want to vomit. Then came the long-term bullying. Beaten, insulted, belongings thrown away, items snatched. It became a daily routine. Haha, I chuckled bitterly. Perhaps today will be the end. What are you doing, Yunyan? A scream exploded in Yunyan's ears, followed by the comical scene of the little pony biting tightly onto the corner of Yunyan's clothes. You came, Time. Why are you a little pony? And you can talk. So strange. You're so warm. You're transparent, and you smell so good, unique. Little Pony. Why Yunyan looked down, unafraid, gazing from the high building. It seemed he wanted to fall into it, to lie in its embrace. Time mumbled, no, you can't jump. Come down. Otherwise, I won't talk to you anymore. Hurry, hurry. Magic. Only magic can save him now. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Suddenly, the little pony's head began to glow slowly, with strands of light emerging from it. A hand reached out to touch the little pony's head, leaving her astonished. Time, you don't need to cast your magical spells anymore. Although I can't see you, I want to tell you. I like you. Thank you for staying with me for so long, but I really can't go on. I wish that if there's a next life, I can see you again. The little pony's hind hooves began to slowly disappear. No, no, not now. Are you leaving again? Time. Just as well you won't have to see that bloody scene, but Yunyan showed a gentle smile and suddenly hugged the little pony tightly. Ugh, Time froze for a moment, and then Yunyan let her go. Since I'm leaving, what's wrong with being a little excessive? Yunyan stood up, turned his back to the abyss behind him, and slowly fell. Goodbye, my beloved. Little pony. He fell with a smile, and in that moment, apart from Time, it was the first time Yunyan saw light in this world. No. The little pony watched him fall, filled with unwillingness and tears. A drop fell from her transparent body, falling along with Yunyan. The little pony slowly dissipated. The once lively top floor suddenly became cold and quiet. Nothing had happened. I'm sorry, Time. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. I'm coming to find you. If there's a next life, I hope I can be just like you, Time. Tears flowed from Yunyan's eyes. Boom. His body hit the ground. Blood splattered everywhere. But in the blood, there was a drop of water that remained untainted. Drip. Another tear mixed with that drop of water, flashing a burst of white light that immediately turned purple-pink and vanished. Wow, wow, wow. Chapter 2, where is this? It hurts. Where am I? What happened to me? Shouldn't I be dead? In the night, a thunderclap exploded in the sky, and raindrops fell continuously on Yunyan's body. However, he didn't react at all to what had happened to him. He slowly sat up, letting the raindrops soak his horse body. Yunyan rubbed his face, feeling something was wrong, and touched his body in confusion. He clearly remembered falling down the stairs. That sound was clear in his mind. Thinking back, it was indeed terrifying. That feeling of being enveloped by death, that taste, that color. Yunyan never wanted to experience that again in his life. He stood up, but he didn't realize how strange his current posture was in this world. Yunyan looked around in confusion. These trees are so strange, they emit emotions. They are alive? Yunyan looked at the trees around him in disbelief, like he had seen a ghost. They exuded a presence that Yunyan could clearly feel. But their presence had no taste, none. Yunyan couldn't be sure. He had never seen emotions that emitted a presence without a taste. Yunyan hesitated for a while, gritted his teeth. I can see their presence, which means my abilities are still intact. Let's give it a try. After all, there's no hostility. Even if there is. I can run. Yunyan closed his eyes tightly and slowly touched the lifeless trees. There was no change at all. He breathed a sigh of relief. Thank goodness. It's fine. But where is this? Yunyan touched his chin, deep in thought. Wait, where are my hands? My big hands. Why do I have hooves? Why are my hands so small now? Yunyan finally discovered the abnormality in his body and hurriedly ran to a puddle, looking at himself in the dim light of the lightning. How did I turn into a horse? No way, no way. My horn can't be magical like times. Yunyan, like a horse, pushed his head against the ground with all his strength, even though he was originally a horse. But Yunyan's horn didn't emit a halo like times. It failed. As expected, I can't cast magic. How disappointing, being a horse and not being able to cast magic. Yunyan carefully examined himself in the puddle. Although he had turned into a little horse, I really look good. With a snow-white mane and tail that has some blue and a hint of purple. A blue body. The chest is white. The whole little horse is beautiful beyond description. The rain gradually stopped. Yunyan shook his head and began to wander slowly. This forest is so big. How can I get out of here? The first reaction of Yunyan, who had turned into a little horse, was still how to leave the forest and get to a civilized society. No. What am I doing wandering around here? I'm a little horse. What's wrong with living in a forest? Although this forest feels a bit strange. It should be the place where I belong. However, since I'm not familiar with this place, how can I survive here? Yunyan irritably tapped his head with his hooves. I'm so hungry. Let me see if there's anything to eat around here. Yunyan weaved through the trees and bushes, trying to find something edible. After searching for a long time, a starving Yunyan looked at the bushes. I'm a horse. Eating this should be fine, right? Oh woo. Yunyan took a bite of the bushes, numbly chewing on the foliage, revealing a dazed expression. Ugh, this thing is inedible. I'm starving. My God. Am I going to starve to death before I can live my life again? Yunyan shouted at the sky. It seems a little horse is lost here and just in time to catch her. A cold voice rang out in the air. Who is it? Yunyan sensed a familiar smell. That is a dangerous aura. It's so pungent. Yunyan suppressed the urge to cough and continued to survey the surroundings. There. Who is it? Show yourself, or I won't be polite. Yunyan bit a piece of wood out of a pile of grass, originally intending to use it. He found he had no hands and had to hold it with his mouth. What a brave and keen little horse. Ha. Become my loyal subordinate. The cold voice echoed again, and a purple-blue mist enveloped Yunyan. It's over. This was Yunyan's last thought. Chapter 3. That scene that haunts my dreams. Is this what you've been looking for? Yes, Applejack. This is what we need. The elements of harmony. The elements of harmony, placed in different locations, were retrieved by Rainbow Dash, Daisy, and Fluttershy and gently placed in front of Twilight Sparkle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But there are only 5 of them. Where's the 6th one? Pinkie Pie asked with some confusion. Twilight Sparkle nodded. The book says that gathering 5 elements of harmony will require a spark to reveal the 6th. But I don't know how to create that spark. Twilight Sparkle pondered for a moment and stepped back. Girls, I don't know what will happen. Twilight Sparkle lowered her head and concentrated magic at her horn. At that moment, a deep blue magical beam shot towards Twilight Sparkle. Get away. Applejack rushed towards Twilight Sparkle, pushing her aside. The deep blue beam exploded where Twilight Sparkle had been standing. No, the elements of harmony. Twilight Sparkle quickly stood up, but the elements of harmony had been blown away by the magic. Rainbow Dash collected all the elements of harmony with her speed and gently set them down. See, I'm the fastest. Rainbow Dash laughed, soaring in the air. Step back, or you'll all die. A blue figure appeared in front of the pedestal where the elements of harmony had been. A cold gaze swept over all the little ponies present. He wore purple-blue armor, his mane billowing, and that sharp horn radiated immense magic. Only his eyes were incredibly chaotic. No, this shouldn't be happening. I am being controlled. Who is this? They are like time, all little ponies. Yunyan struggled deep within his mind, but the overwhelming power deceived his body. Everyone back off. He's terrifying. Twilight Sparkle could deeply sense the magic from Yunyan's horn, and it was very strong, almost rivaling the teacher. Plus, he was so strange, standing upright. Little ponies don't walk on 2 legs. Wow, how strange. There's a little pony standing. Pinkie Pie exclaimed, excited as if she had seen something new. But he's so handsome, like a prince, yet now he looks like a devil. Rarity and Fluttershy stood behind Applejack and Rainbow Dash, somewhat scared. Say it again. Step back. Twilight Sparkle whispered something in Applejack's ear. Applejack produced a rope from who knows where, and Twilight Sparkle stepped forward, charging at Yunyan. Yunyan aimed his horn at Twilight Sparkle. No, she will die. Yunyan desperately tried to control himself. A fleeting clarity passed through his chaotic eyes as he turned his horn. Boom. A massive magical beam pierced through the ceiling, illuminating the entire sky with a deep blue light. The ceiling shattered, covering the elements of harmony. The 6 ponies stared in shock at the power of Yunyan's magic, finding it unbelievable. "Quick, leave. This is Yunyan's voice." Then, Yunyan's body collapsed, struggling in pain. He can talk," Twilight Sparkle murmured in surprise. "It seems he's being controlled," Twilight Sparkle. Applejack put away her rope. "What should we do now? He looks so pitiful," Twilight Sparkle. "Can you help him?" Fluttershy approached Yunyan, gently stroking his mane. In that moment, Fluttershy seemed no longer afraid. The gentleness in Fluttershy magnified infinitely in Yunyan's eyes. That color is the same as time's." The gentle aura wrapped around Yunyan, calming him down slowly. "It seems my night doesn't work so well here, haha." The cold voice echoed once more. A purple-blue orb of light struck Fluttershy away. Twilight Sparkle caught Fluttershy with magic and set her down. Everyone stood together. Yunyan became painful because there was no gentle comfort. "Nightmare Moon, come out. I know you are here," Twilight Sparkle said impolitely to the purple-blue light. "Haha. It turns out that after so many years, there are still little ponies who remember my name." Nightmare Moon appeared in front of Yunyan and touched Yunyan's horn with her own. "Stand up, my knight." Yunyan's eyes became chaotic again, breaking free from the ropes. He stood up instantly, but his posture was still strange, standing on his 2 hind hooves. What surprised me even more was that this little pony from who knows where possessed such magic. I really struck gold. I will take him to conquer the entire Little Maria. Nightmare Moon looked at Twilight Sparkle and the others with mockery. What to do? What to do? The element of harmony has been buried. How are we going to fight against Nightmare Moon and this super powerful little pony? Twilight Sparkle worriedly confronted Nightmare Moon. At that moment, Yunyan suddenly underwent a change. A powerful magic gathered on his horn and attacked Nightmare Moon directly. What's going on? Internal strife? Pinkie Pie looked at them strangely. Nightmare Moon was forced to fly up by this magic. She immediately used her own magic to build a circular magic shield around herself. Then came the clash of magic. The 2 beams of light collided, locked in a stalemate. "No, you can't hurt them." Ultimately, Nightmare Moon was stronger. Not only did she have magic, but she also launched more small light beams that struck Yunyan. "No, I can't fall. They are still here." Those spells began to make the armor on Yunyan fall off. Quick, ponies. I can't hold on much longer." Yunyan urged Twilight Sparkle and the others anxiously. "Girls, let's find the element of harmony." Twilight Sparkle called to her friends. In the ruins, Rarity and Twilight Sparkle quickly used magic to move the fallen rocks. Applejack and the others were responsible for retrieving the element of harmony. At this moment, the armor on Yunyan had completely disappeared, and there were some bloodstains on him. But he still held on desperately. Why don't they leave? This monstrous little pony is not something they can deal with. Yunyan finally couldn't hold on anymore. Nightmare Moon's magic crushed Yunyan's magic and struck his horn. Yunyan was instantly knocked back and crashed onto the platform behind him, which collapsed and covered part of his body. His horn emitted white smoke as if it was about to be destroyed. "Those who betray me will only meet one end. That is to be annihilated." Nightmare Moon's horn emitted magic. Just as she was about to unleash it, she was attracted by a bright light nearby. Twilight Sparkle and the others had completely collected the element of harmony. "All right, quick. Twilight Sparkle lowered her head, shimmering white light on her horn. That was the spark she wanted to ignite, to summon the 6th element of harmony. The 5 elements of harmony slowly floated up. No, you cannot succeed." Nightmare Moon suddenly changed direction and unleashed her magic. The deep blue beam abruptly interrupted Nightmare Moon's magic. That was Yunyan's last bit of strength. "We did it." Twilight Sparkle and her friends joyfully awaited the 6th element of harmony. However, at that moment, the 5 elements of harmony shattered. "No." Twilight Sparkle, with tears in her eyes, looked at this scene in disbelief. Ha, it's still mine. Little Maria is ultimately in my grasp. The world will forever be in darkness." Nightmare Moon spread her wings, appearing even more terrifying under the moonlight. "Not a chance, you villain." Pinkie Pie was the first to retort against Nightmare Moon, followed by Applejack and Rainbow Dash. Everyone stood up together. In that instant, Twilight Sparkle seemed to understand something. "You are wrong, Nightmare Moon, and I was wrong too. The spirit represented by the elements of harmony has always been here." The fragments gradually surrounded her friends, radiating magical remnants as Twilight Sparkle spoke. And the 6th was the magic of friendship and the spark within the heart. The 6 little ponies floated in the air. Suddenly, a rainbow surged from between them, engulfing Nightmare Moon. "No, is that a rainbow? It's as beautiful as she is." Yunyan felt the essence of the rainbow as Nightmare Moon disappeared, completely exhausted and fainted. Chapter 4. Princess Celestia no. Nightmare Moon was engulfed by the rainbow, her armor shattered, and Princess Luna, trapped inside, was released. She lay on the ground. The magic transformed into necklaces attached to Applejack and the others. I thought Twilight Sparkle was talking nonsense. But it seems we really represent the spirit of the elements of harmony. As the sun rose, the entire ruins were illuminated. A fiery red orb rushed into the ruins, transforming into a tall pony. It was an alicorn. The ponies knelt on their forehoofs. Princess Celestia. Twilight Sparkle excitedly hugged her. I knew you would succeed. My smartest student. Twilight Sparkle. Princess Celestia embraced Twilight Sparkle with her wings, stroking her mane. Now it's time for you to face the consequences for what you did, my sister. Princess Luna. Sister. Everyone was surprised by Princess Celestia's words and looked at Princess Luna in unison. Princess Luna covered her face with her wings. Not daring to look at Princess Celestia, her head slightly bowed. Come back and lead little Maria with me, sister. Sister. Princess Luna suddenly hugged Princess Celestia, embracing each other and unable to hold back their tears. Union looked at Princess Luna again. She no longer seemed terrifying like before, but rather cold and aloof. Unlike the more understanding mare, Union could sense the guilt she felt towards him. Therefore, Princess Luna did not dare to look at Union. They are simply the opposite sides of a coin, one more fiery, the other more icy. Forget it. I can't move anyway, and I don't feel malice from them. Union carefully observed Princess Celestia and the other ponies, slowly drifting off to sleep. He was simply too tired. Chapter 5. You are in my sister's chamber. Hiss. Where's this? Union woke up in a bed, and the intense pain made it difficult for him to move. Union was speechless. Which genius wrapped me up like this? His body, along with his head and horn, was wrapped in bandages, leaving only his eyes exposed. He knew he was seriously injured, but was it really this exaggerated? Oh, it seems you are awake. I need to report to Princess Celestia. A pony wearing a white coat and a headpiece that looked like a reflective disc walked in. You'd better not move. Your injuries are quite serious, especially your horn, which is the most damaged. But fortunately, Princess Celestia healed you a bit. Otherwise, you would have lost your horn. Do you have any discomfort? Union was somewhat speechless. You sealed my mouth, big brother. How am I supposed to talk? Union made muffled sounds to remind the doctor that he couldn't speak. I forgot, I sealed your mouth. The doctor awkwardly removed the bandage on Union's head. His mane immediately spread out over him. His horn was indeed much better than before the injury. I feel okay, but doctor, I'm very hungry. Union's stomach cooperatively made a grumbling sound, looking pitifully at the doctor. He was already very hungry after the battle. Now he felt like he could eat an enormous cake. I need to inform Princess Celestia about this. You should rest. I'll go report. The doctor walked out. Union lay quietly on the bed, observing his surroundings. This place was too luxurious. Even a lamp or decoration must be worth a fortune. This bed was so soft, softer than any bed he had ever slept on. Now, he still didn't know what this world was like. But looking at those ponies walking on 4 hooves, he wondered if he should do the same to avoid being questioned. After all, he used to be a human. I understand the principle that those who are not of my kind will have different hearts. Even though I am not that kind of person, do you also want to see your mane fluttering? With your magic, it should be soon. Huh. Union stared blankly at the beautiful mare. It seems you don't know that when there is so much magic that it overflows, the mane will flutter like it is now. Well, I really didn't know that. Union's stomach growled again, protesting that he was very hungry. It seems you are quite hungry. The little pony Union nodded awkwardly. Let's go. I'll take you to eat. Celestia used her magic to remove the bandages from Union, revealing his beautiful blue body once more. Sometimes, I really suspect you are my sister's boyfriend. Celestia turned and walked outside. Union slowly stood up, trying to walk like the little ponies to avoid raising suspicion. At first, he was very unaccustomed and kept falling. Gradually, he became more stealthy. Thud. Union fell to the ground, pulling at his previous injury, making him grimace. Sorry, this beautiful, princess. I was a bit confused by what you said. I've never seen your sister. Celestia thought Union was having trouble because of his injuries and used magic to lift him up and continue walking. Perhaps you have already seen her. She is Nightmare Moon. What? Union was a bit dazed. What is Nightmare Moon? Celestia mischievously feigned indifference, saying, You actually don't know Nightmare Moon? How strange. Although you don't know, you were lying in my sister's chamber just now. Union was completely dumbfounded. Chapter 6, My Origins. What? This is your sister's chamber? Union was stunned. No, this is too wrong. I have only seen her once. I actually recuperated in her chamber. Ugh. Thinking about it gives me chills. Could it be that I was plotted against because I interrupted her good deeds? Will I be dismembered or subjected to torture? The more Union thought about it, the more uneasy he felt, his expression becoming quite vivid. Celestia noticed Yunyan's expression and couldn't help but want to laugh. By the time they reached the table, Celestia placed Yunyan on the bench with apples, pie, and desserts in front of him. Yunyan's previously vivid expression disappeared the moment he saw the food. He initially wanted to use his hands, but realized he had hooves, not wanting to use his magic. He buried his head and began to munch. Crumbs flew everywhere. It seems you are really starving. Celestia looked at Yunyan devouring his food gently, waiting silently. Sister, I heard that little pony woke up. A starry-colored little pony flew in. Mind your manners, Celestia reminded her sister Luna. Luna quickly stopped and tidied herself up. Yunyan raised his head at the sound, his face covered in crumbs, looking somewhat ridiculous. Luna was a bit hesitant to look directly at Yunyan. After all, she had almost sent him to the afterlife. Yunyan smelled a somewhat bitter scent, knowing that Luna must feel guilty again. Beautiful sister, you don't need to feel guilty. It wasn't you, right? Yunyan smiled with his crumb-covered face. Celestia couldn't help but laugh. Luna lowered her head, her face slightly flushed. All right, dear sister. You should go rest. You have to enter the dream tonight. Celestia quickly gave Luna an out, and upon hearing this, Luna flew away. Yunyan, still confused, asked, Your Highness, did I scare your sister? On the contrary, perhaps you charm my sister. Celestia looked at Yunyan with some amusement, wiping his face with a towel to remove the crumbs. Yunyan smiled awkwardly. I should be afraid too, Your Highness. I'm afraid she would blast me to pieces with one spell. All right, let's get to the main topic. What is your name, little pony? And how did you end up in the Everfree Forest? Where do you come from? Yunyan was a bit shocked by the sudden barrage of questions. My name is Yunyan, Your Highness. As for how I ended up in that, Everfree Forest, I don't know. I was unconscious before meeting your sister, and then I woke up there. As for where I come from, Yunyan fell silent because he didn't even know what he was. A centaur? He didn't even know how he got this body. Your Highness, actually, I also don't know my origins. Yunyan shook his head. When I woke up, I was already there. The only thing I have is my ability to sense emotions and this horn that I can't use. Sense emotions? What is that? Your Highness, I can clearly feel the emotions of other creatures. Those emotions emit scents, like the trees in that, Everfree Forest. They are strange, having colors but no scents. What exactly are they? And your sister, when she came in, I smelled the bitter scent on her. That was a strong feeling of guilt. A very amazing ability. No other little pony has such a gifted talent. Perhaps this is your cute mark. As for the trees you mentioned in the Everfree Forest, I also don't know. They have existed longer than we alicorns who have lived for thousands of years, and they have always been quite mysterious. Cute mark? What is that, Your Highness? And what is an alicorn? I am a unicorn, right, Your Highness? That's common knowledge, little pony. Perhaps there is a reason for your appearance in the Everfree Forest. Celestia pondered. Normally, little ponies that appear there can easily lose themselves and become disoriented. At worst, they might be devoured by timber wolves. You were unconscious inside and still survived. This may have something to do with you. Celestia looked seriously at Yunyan. But you said you can't use magic. Yet your magic is almost on par with mine and Luna's. Celestia fell into silence. Perhaps it is somewhat connected to that black mist. Yunyan buried his head, quietly missing someone. Time, where are you? Will you be in this world? I came to find you. Yunyan couldn't help but shed tears, regretting some of his actions in his previous life. Perhaps he would never see her again. A handkerchief wrapped in starry-colored magic wiped away Yunyan's tears and the crumbs. Yunyan looked up and caught a glimpse of Luna peeking in from the door, and he mouthed a thank you to her. The handkerchief fell. The starry-colored little pony disappeared in a flash. Chapter 7. Friendship is magic. After you fell unconscious that day, what was the black gas that emerged from your body? Perhaps you don't quite understand, but I'll show you a scene, and you'll understand. Celestia created a mirror with her magic, reflecting Yunyan, slowly transforming into that dark day when the darkness appeared. The Yunyan wrapped in magic floated in the air, surrounded by little ponies. Teacher, did you know? Thanks to that little pony, we really couldn't have solved this issue otherwise. Luna heard Twilight Sparkle's voice and felt a bit guilty, silently following behind. He is really handsome, right? Rarity swooned, leaning against Fluttershy, who supported Rarity, unable to help but smile. At least he got out of danger, and Fluttershy is like this, gentle, warm-hearted, always thinking of others. We should throw a big party. To celebrate our victory this time, Pinkie Pie bounced around, never able to sit still. Did you see? I was so cool back then. Rainbow Dash and Applejack were chatting, and it looked like everyone was very happy. Only Luna silently followed behind. She is so lonely. It all looks lively, but it can't hide the sadness in her eyes. Yunyan couldn't help but feel pity. He remembered his past. The Yunyan in the mirror slowly revealed a black aura, enveloping his entire body. Sister, He seems a bit off, Luna quietly reminded. But Celestia nudged Luna with her head, telling her not to think too much. Boom. The magic-wrapped Union suddenly shattered the magic, and a strong aura burst forth, pushing away the surrounding little ponies. Union grew pitch-black wings and flew into the sky, looking down. Those wings felt strange, as if eyes were watching you. What was even more bizarre was that Union had not opened his eyes, and the wings were not attached to his body, but were magical wings that appeared around him. A strong sense of crisis stimulated the nerves of Celestia and Princess Luna. Twilight Sparkle quickly wrapped herself and her friends in a magical barrier at an incredible speed. At that moment, a beam of rainbow light shot toward Union. He quickly moved in the air, trying to evade the rainbow, but it pursued him relentlessly. Unable to keep up with his speed, no longer wanting to run, Union gathered his strength again to clash head-on. The pitch-black magic shattered upon contact with the rainbow. The rainbow enveloped Union, and the sound of breaking glass echoed. Union's magical black wings shattered instantly. Without wings, Union fell from the sky, but a starry-colored magic caught him. It turned out that just as the residual force from the magical collision was about to hit Celestia and Princess Luna, Twilight Sparkle had gathered with her friends. And the magic of friendship surged forth, calming the residual force rushing towards Union. Caught safely, Union landed smoothly on the ground, which had already formed a large pit, with trees around him uprooted and scattered. The eerie black magic continuously manifested on his horn, seemingly trying to break free from this confinement. "Teacher, are you all right?" Twilight Sparkle ran worriedly towards Celestia, who embraced her with her white wings, reassuring her of her safety. In that moment, his magical power nearly reached the peak that an individual pony could achieve, leaving Celestia stunned. It was nearly impossible for a pony to reach such magical power, even for an alicorn like them. "With that power just now, my sister and I are almost out of magic," Celestia said. "Luna, stay away from him." Princess Luna was very worried beside Union. She didn't know why she felt this way or where the anxiety in her heart came from. Perhaps it was guilt, or perhaps it was unease. With a crack, Union's horn shattered. Pain flooded his entire body. A scream echoed through the forest. Union twisted and struggled on the ground. The pain from his horn was indescribable. "Am I going to die?" The pitch-black magic surged forth. Luna, who was nearby, would definitely be hurt. "Be careful, sister." Celestia quickly teleported in front of Luna to take her away, while the black magic surged endlessly into the sky. "He is in so much pain, but I can't help. Why do I feel the same way? Why doesn't Luna feel the tears flowing from the corners of her eyes?" Somewhere, it seemed the entire world was about to become interesting. Hee. In the sky city of Ponyville, many ponies looked at the approaching black mist. When the mist touched a pony, that pony's eyes turned pitch black, radiating fear, crawling on the clouds, constantly mumbling no, no, as if they had suffered a great mental shock. The mist spread, infecting more and more ponies. The sky city was in chaos. The black gas emitted from the infected ponies floated higher and higher. In Canterlot, quick, everyone, be on guard. A unicorn in full armor galloped quickly on the castle walls of Canterlot, alerting the surrounding guards. At that moment, a sky-blue pony rushed over. "Shining armor. All the civilians are gathered around the castle." "Good, 12. We haven't been this vigilant in a long time. That black mist is suspicious. Follow me. We need to evacuate more ponies." Centered around Shining Armor, a massive barrier rose up, enveloping the entire castle to isolate the encroaching black mist. "Teacher, his magic is terrifying. Just looking at it brings me fear," Twilight Sparkle said, cautiously casting magic in front of all the ponies. Fluttershy and Rarity had already collapsed and couldn't move. Applejack and Rainbow Dash were slightly better, but still struggled to stand. Strangely, Pinkie Pie seemed fine, but she had lost her usual joy. "Now it's up to you, Twilight Sparkle. Only the power of your friendship can stop the spread of his magic." Celestia planned to buy them time. After bursting out of the barrier, she used magic to try to disperse the pitch-black magic surrounding Luna, but it had no effect. "Girls, pull yourselves together. Think of your families. Think of your apple family. Applejack, your dreams, Rainbow Dash. There are so many animals waiting for you, Fluttershy. To become the best designer in Canterlot, Rarity. To throw the best party, Pinkie Pie. It's so nice to meet you." Friends thought of all the ways they had helped each other. Twilight Sparkle had to admit that friendship and friends were important lessons. "Teacher, I may have found the reason you brought me to Ponyville." It was only when she heard their voices and saw them that she realized how much she cared and how happy she was. "Oh dear, don't say that. We are friends." Applejack struggled to walk over and hug Twilight Sparkle. "We are friends. Good friends don't need to say these things." Pinkie Pie regained her former joy. Bouncing over, "I think I should put on a beautiful aerial show for our victory celebration," Rainbow Dash said, as she slowly flew over. That celebration will definitely need me to design your outfits. Dear, Rarity approached slowly, bearing the pressure of magic. We need to save him. Fluttershy had never been so determined, even forgetting her momentary pain. Friends, let that wretched black magic see our power. Brilliant light shone brightly, and the elements of harmony and their lovely symbols resonated. Honesty, kindness, optimism, generosity, loyalty. And the last one, magic. They were enveloped and floated up. A more vibrant and brilliant rainbow shot toward the sky, instantly dispersing the entire darkness above. That rainbow had a strand that pierced Union's horn, instantly halting the emergence of the black magic, and Union was caught by Luna and flew down. The rainbow sent the blackness in the sky rapidly spreading outward. The entire world beneath that rainbow became more beautiful, and the blue sky reappeared. Twilight Sparkle and her friends gradually descended from the sky. We did it. The ponies cheered on the ground, rejoicing. Chapter 8. A new beginning in the Sky City of Ponyville. Everyone cheered, unaware of where the magic that dispelled the terrifying magic of the Sky City came from. Feeling grateful to be alive. In Canterlot, I can't hold on much longer. 12. This black magic is quickly eroding my magic, and my magical barrier is about to shatter. Shining Armor's barrier was rapidly developing cracks, seemingly on the verge of breaking. The ponies stationed around the castle became chaotic, trying to rush into the castle for shelter. Hold on, Shining Armor. That's all we can do now. 12 gathered all his magic into his horn and injected it into the barrier in an instant. Though faint, this was his first time attempting such a thing, as he had only repaired items or weapons before. It was the first time using his magic to repair someone else's magic. In the process of trying, 12 altered the molecular structure of his magic to match that of Shining Armor's. This required immense mental strength, and the molecules continuously changed and combined, adhering to the barrier like bandages. The cracks began to slowly heal. We still can't hold out for too long, Shining Armor. Just then, a rainbow rushed in from a distance, dispersing the darkness. Slowly, the barrier that Shining Armor had been maintaining began to weaken, and he leaned against 12, feeling exhausted. The ponies around the castle gradually quieted down, and after realizing there was no problem, they cried tears of joy. They had survived. Your magic is depleted, Shining Armor. It's okay, 12. It's my duty to serve Canterlot to the best of my ability. Thank goodness for that rainbow. Yes, it seems they succeeded, Shining Armor. She is your pride. Shining Armor smiled, regaining his spirits. Teacher, we did it. Twilight Sparkle hugged Celestia excitedly. Her friends rushed over, and everyone embraced. Only Luna held on to Union tightly, his broken horn surrounded by deep blue magic that crackled like lightning. This scene deeply pained Luna, and she couldn't understand the ache in her heart. He almost killed us just now, so why do I feel this way when he's so badly hurt? Tears streamed down her face and fell onto Union. Luna touched Union's broken horn with her own. The starry magic enveloped the shattered horn, trying to ease his pain. Her sister Celestia and Twilight Sparkle appeared behind. You've never been this sad, Luna. Not even when our father-like teacher left us. In the thousands of years we've spent together, this is the first time you've cried for a stranger. Perhaps you two have a connection. Luna subtly used magic to lift Union and flew quickly towards Canterlot. Celestia sighed. Hey, that guy almost made us miss tomorrow's sunrise, Applejack shouted. Twilight quickly covered Applejack's mouth, awkwardly looking at Celestia. The friends gathered around. Seeing Union like this made Celestia more convinced of her guess. This child didn't mean to be that way. He is kind. Union, you don't need to blame yourself so much. We know it's not your fault. Your Highness, I almost killed you, didn't I? Union asked hoarsely. That's in the past, child. Welcome to Canterlot. Without a home, do you want to be part of this place? Celestia gently touched Union with her wing. In Union's eyes, the warm glow illuminated his world. Is this my new beginning? I am willing, Your Highness. No need for such formality, child. You can call me Celestia or teacher. Union was stunned, as if a memory flashed in his mind. Cosmic Princess. Is that what you call me? Perhaps this title is not bad. Celestia was quite pleased with the title. Union didn't know why, but the name suddenly appeared in his mind, and he instinctively called it out. Those are Twilight Sparkle, Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash, Rarity, and Applejack. Are those their names? Union felt confused. Those names seemed to come from nowhere, automatically appearing in his mind. So, would you like to have another teacher, Union? Union hesitated. I would, Cosmic Princess. Then from today on, follow me. I will train you to become an excellent magician. We'll take our leave now, Your Highness. Celestia nodded, smiling at Union, who was magically tied up by 12. I wonder if your arrival is good or bad. Luna, your calamity. In the evening, all right. From now on, this is your little home. Make yourself comfortable. 12 led Yunyan into a house made of books, filled with books. 12 poured Yunyan a cup of hot cocoa. Your room is on the second floor, left turn. The bathroom is on the first floor, and the kitchen is behind that shelf. 12 chattered on about the arrangement of the house. Yunyan's mouth twitched. No. What kind of good horse has a bathroom with magic restrictions? And what's with the magical cannon being researched? Aren't you afraid of it blowing up, teacher? Even cooking in the kitchen requires magic to unlock. What are you thinking? Yunyan was utterly speechless, looking at 12 with a gloomy expression, full of complaints. Oh, don't show that kind of expression. This is all a test for your magic. Realizing she had gone too far, 12 awkwardly hugged Yunyan. Goo. Yunyan's stomach growled. He was already quite hungry, having barely eaten anything at the palace before being whisked away. You're hungry, little one. Wait for me. I'll go cook for you. 12 hurriedly rushed into the kitchen to start preparing dinner. Yunyan couldn't help but smile, feeling nostalgic for this nagging feeling. This feeling of companionship. This is my beginning. A new life. Chapter 9. Teacher. Teach me. This was a place primarily composed of earth ponies, pegasi, and unicorns. Called Little Maria. Earth ponies were the strongest among the 3 types of ponies, naturally attuned to the land. They were responsible for agriculture and industry in Little Maria. Pegasi had wings and could fly, being the most athletic and the only ponies with their own city. They had the special ability to stand on clouds and could freely move clouds, thus responsible for the weather and national defense, also being the most numerous among the military. Unicorns were the only ponies capable of using magic, able to accomplish various tasks with their horns. They mainly handled politics, education, and national defense. With their military numbers second only to Pegasi, Yunyan looked at the various books in the house bit by bit. Since 12 went out to patrol and research, she left Yunyan some gold coins. The most representative of the unicorns were the Cosmic Princess and the Moon Princess. They had long lifespans and were almost immortal. They often served as leaders of the nation. Yunyan suddenly realized. He thought, of course, with wings and a horn, they must be able to take off and start a wonderful life. Yunyan quietly looked at book after book, reading quickly. He could feel that since coming to this world, his learning ability had increased. Every line of text he read was deeply engraved in his mind. It's amazing. I seem to have a photographic memory, Yunyan marveled. Time flew by. It was only in the afternoon that Yunyan stopped reading. He had a basic understanding of this world and felt some fear about appearing in the Eternal Freedom Forest. Damn it. I'm lucky to have not encountered any of those terrifying creatures. Goo. Yunyan was hungry again. He walked to the kitchen, trying to push open the door. Click. Click. The door wouldn't budge. Yunyan paused. He pulled hard, but the door didn't move at all. Frustrated, he even used his mouth to bite the door in an attempt to pull it open, only to be sent flying, crashing into the bookshelf. Damn, look what you did. Teacher 12. With a crash, the books on the bookshelf instantly buried Yunyan, leaving only a horn exposed, motionless. Boom. The deep blue figure was knocked back and hit the bookshelf next to the door again, with another pile of books burying Yunyan. Oh dear, it's little Yunyan. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Why do you appear like a ghost? 12 awkwardly rushed over to help Yunyan sit on a stool. Teacher, why do you have to put magic on the door if you have nothing to do? I can't do that. Yunyan looked up, tears welling in his eyes. His face sunken as if he hadn't eaten for days. Ahaha. 12 became even more awkward and could only laugh nervously. You must be starving. I'll go cook for you. 12 quickly found an excuse to rush into the kitchen, leaving Yunyan behind. Yunyan took a sip of tea, feeling very aggrieved. Damn, my chest hurts. Yunyan sat on the stool, instantly deflated, resting his head on the table, hooves dangling in the air, quietly waiting for this teacher of his. Here it comes. Come try the apple pie and pastries I made. Warm apple pie and pastries were served on the table by 12. Teacher 12. You can actually make these things? Yunyan expressed surprise. This seemingly young pony had such skills. You eat first, I'll clean up those things. Teacher, there are too many. Let us eat these and clean up together. Yunyan eagerly bit into the apple pie. So delicious. Yunyan's eyes sparkled, feeling very satisfied with the apple pie. 12 proudly walked over and closed Yunyan's chin. You don't have to be so surprised. A little bit of magic has placed 12 right in front of Yunyan, gracefully using magic to lift a pastry and put it in her mouth. Teacher, what is that? I want to learn. Yunyan quickly leaned closer and knelt down in front of 12, his eyes sparkling as he nodded furiously. Then you better be mentally prepared. My magic is not that easy to learn. 12 pushed Yunyan with a hoof, continuing to eat the pastry. Teacher, teach me, teach me. Yunyan was filled with a thirst for knowledge about magic, even forgetting his hunger. Hey, Yunyan now had a big bump on his head. Be normal. Eat your meal. Tomorrow I'm on break, and we can take it slow. Oh, Yunyan touched his head with grievance, continuing to bury his head in his food. Thank you, teacher. Although it hurts, your gentleness cannot be concealed. Enian happily felt the warmth emanating from Teacher 12. We have all been lonely, but we cannot hide the brilliance we may encounter in life. Gentleness is our antidote in the darkness, a guiding light. Chapter 10. Grievance and Disappearance. The first ray of morning sunlight shone on Enian's face. As he slowly opened his eyes, he was faced with a feathered duster. Huh, a duster. Enian sprang up and moved to the side, as the duster landed on the blanket with a thud. Still dazed, he looked at the owner of the duster. Teacher, what are you doing? Hey, your reaction is pretty good. I thought I told you to remember not to wake up so late. 12 walked ahead, greeting the nearby little ponies, clearly well regarded in this area. Teacher, you're so mean, Enian muttered behind him. What did you say? 12 smiled at Enian. Oh no, I can't escape a beating. Enian covered his face. Don't hit my face. Just then, 12 pulled out a duster from who knows where. 12, you're here. Come help me. I can't use this thing. An old lady approached 12 from behind, and 12 quickly put away his inherited whip and kindly supported the old lady. Ain't you? Out for a walk. Oh dear, I'm old now. No ponies are watching me, so I just came out for a stroll. 12, my old radio seems to be broken. Can you help me fix it? Sure, take your time. Let's go to your house first. 12 gently assisted Aunt Yu as they walked along the road. Enian slowly followed until they reached a pumpkin house. A pumpkin house? How ridiculous. Enian's mouth twitched. The houses in this world were all so absurd. 12 helped Aunt Yu into the house and came to a rocking chair. Enian found it even more exaggerated. Even little ponies had such rocking chairs. 12 skillfully went to a nearby cabinet and fiddled with what looked like some aged items. Who is this? 12, is this your child? Quite handsome, Aunt Yu chuckled. 12, you're not young anymore. You should find a partner, Aunt Yu nagged at 12. 12's head dropped, almost falling over, and he fixed the radio even faster. You, while you're still young and the chief researcher of Canterlot, with your conditions, why worry about finding a soulmate? I tell you, you were just like me when I was young. Hearing Aunt Yu nagging, 12 immediately cast a repair spell on the radio and turned to drag Enian away. Hey, slow down, child. Aunt Yu's voice faded away. 12 finally breathed a sigh of relief. It turned out the teacher was also afraid of nagging. Enian covered his mouth, fearing he would laugh out loud. You haven't been beaten up before, have you? 12 brought Enian to a training ground outside the Canterlot Palace. There were well-trained soldiers everywhere. The training ground was filled with sandbags, training equipment, and targets. 12 magically threw Enian into the training ground. Listen up, kid. The first lesson to mastering magic is to have quick reflexes to gain the upper hand in magical duels. Randomly, the sandbags and equipment on the ground were magically manipulated and hurled at Enian. No, teacher. Is this necessary? It's dangerous. Enian quickly dodged, avoiding a barbell, but was hit by a sandbag from behind, then struck by another sandbag in midair. Enian was tossed around like a ball, and finally, he tightly hugged a sandbag, too scared to move. Teacher, how am I supposed to dodge this? Enian was nearly in tears. It was painful. And the key was that attacks were coming from all directions, and he didn't have eyes behind him. What am I supposed to do? Smack. His butt was hit hard. It was the duster. Teacher, that's too much. Enian's cries echoed continuously, attracting the soldiers nearby who were exercising. Poor thing. This little pony must have offended the strategist. The soldiers whispered among themselves. Enian was in for a tough time. Not only was he being beaten, but he was also becoming a laughingstock. Angrily, Enian finally stood firm. The overwhelming sense of grievance caused his unicorn's light to shine brightly. The deep blue light illuminated the entire training ground. All the little ponies covered their eyes, and when they opened them again, they were stunned by the scene before them. Did I go a bit overboard? 12 asked in shock. There was no longer a training ground in front of him. It was all equipment, dust, and sand. Even the grass on the ground had turned to ash. It was hard to believe. If this was used in a war between nations, it would be an incredibly powerful weapon. 12 hurried over, concerned. Enian, are you okay? Kid, are you alright? 12 repeatedly checked Enian's body for any injuries. Enian pushed 12 away. With a flash, he instantly disappeared from the scene. He disappeared. Where did he go? 12 was a bit anxious. This time, the joke had gone too far. The princess would surely be angry. Chapter 11. The Apple Orchard. Princess Celestia. Little Enian is missing. 12 rushed into the palace. While Celestia was listening to the ministers explaining the day's itinerary, she had long wanted to quit dealing with these processes, but she had no choice. She was the ruler of Canterlot and had to resolve them. What's wrong, 12? Is research lacking funds? Celestia was already used to 12 bursting in. Usually, it was either a breakthrough in research or a funding shortage, so she wasn't particularly worried. Princess, little Enian is missing. 12 gasped for breath. Ah, it's nothing. Celestia glanced at the long list in front of her and paused for a moment. She looked seriously at 12. You just said Enian is missing, right? 12 nodded. What did you say? Celestia's voice echoed throughout the palace, startling the birds resting on the castle to fly away. Princess, how did he disappear? Hurry. Go find him. Celestia couldn't believe it. If he had used the strange magic like when he was in the Everfree Forest, it would be catastrophic. 12. Tell me the whole process. How did he disappear? YK, go notify Shining Armor and have him send some squad leaders to find Enian. This is what he looks like. Celestia used magic to depict Enian's appearance. Tell YK to hurry and find him. I'm really fed up with that damn 12 teacher. Enian kicked a stone on the road, murmuring incessantly. Where am I now? Enian looked up at the sky, feeling utterly helpless. If it weren't for Teacher 12, he wouldn't be in this situation. And where exactly is this magic taking me? It's just road after road, and then nothing. Wow, where is this? So many apple trees. Enian arrived at a place filled with apple trees. Now he wouldn't have to worry about food, having skipped breakfast. He couldn't help but drool at the sight of the tempting apples. He approached the apple trees, pondering how he could get them down. Got it. There are stones all around. That should work. Although he no longer had hands, he could support them. I really am a little genius. Yunyan said he would do it, and just did it. He picked up a stone and accurately smashed down an apple. He hurriedly ran over and took a bite. Delicious. Yunyan enjoyed eating it, and soon finished it. Having tasted the sweetness, he started throwing apples repeatedly. The ground was covered with apples. Hey, apple thief. A reprimanding voice made Yunyan stop. Is that you? What a coincidence. Yunyan felt very embarrassed. He thought, with such good apples, how could they be wild? Turns out they belonged to someone else. I'm sorry, I didn't know they were your apples. Yunyan awkwardly put down the apple he was about to eat. You didn't know? Who in Ponyville doesn't know that this apple orchard belongs to my apple family? Also, you shouldn't be in Canterlot. How did you end up here? Well, that's a long story. Yunyan explained everything to Applejack, and upon understanding the situation, she couldn't help but marvel at how ruthless Yunyan's teacher was. But she also stated that since he ate her fruit, he had to pay. But Yunyan had no money. As a result, he ended up picking apples with Applejack, claiming it would offset what he ate. Applejack, being a true earth pony, had powerful hind hooves. With a kick, all the apples fell from the tree. This move amazed Yunyan, who kept saying how impressive it was, making Applejack a bit shy. Hey Applejack, I'm here to help. A pleasant voice came from a purple pony and a baby dragon. Chapter 12. The Galloping Gala. Who are you? The terrifying pony from that day. Twilight Sparkle was extremely vigilant towards Yunyan. Her unicorn magic was ready to attack him at any moment. Hey, what? What pony? Spike jumped down from Twilight's back and stood in front of her, constantly reassuring her. Fearing that Twilight would accidentally hurt the unknown deep blue pony. I can explain. Yunyan was at a loss. He found what he had done quite frightening. But those actions were beyond his control. Hey, catch those apples. Applejack reminded Yunyan. As Twilight Sparkle approached, Applejack greeted her, thankful for her help. Oh, Zekara, it's fine. He's actually a good pony. Yunyan felt quite down listening to Twilight's words. He unconsciously lowered his head, understanding that he had caused her harm. So although her words were somewhat harsh, they were also justified. What? The entire sky was pitch black that day. Was it caused by him? Spike was astonished. But no one paid attention to him. Twilight was busy keeping Applejack away from Yunyan. Hey, Twilight, don't be so agitated. Let me explain slowly. Applejack continuously reassured Twilight, starting to narrate Yunyan's experiences and why he was here. So, you were forced to come here? And you've already become part of Little Maria? Yunyan nodded frantically, repeatedly expressing his goodwill. Wow, bro, I didn't expect you to be so cool, actually able to arm wrestle with Nightmare Moon. Spike, being very friendly, struck up a conversation with Yunyan, leaving him a bit bewildered. Then let's go pick today's apples first. With his help, I believe we can finish quickly today. Yunyan agreed, but secretly thought about whether he could eat a couple more apples, feeling greedy. Around noon, they finished picking apples and walked along the path, chatting. No problem. Good thing you said before lunch, or I would have starved. Spike sat on Twilight's back, constantly picking apples from the two baskets beside him, mumbling about the good and bad ones, until he pulled out a very red apple and swallowed it in one bite. See, Spike, you've been sitting on my back the whole time. Yunyan silently followed behind them, not saying much because he really didn't know how to face these little ponies he almost killed. Hey, what are you thinking about, little pony? Spike looked at Yunyan with a heavy heart. Nothing. By the way, we still don't know your name. Applejack stopped and turned to Yunyan. My name is Yunyan. I know your names. You are Applejack, she is Twilight Sparkle, and you are Fluttershy. Sorry, isn't your pronunciation a bit off? I'm Applejack. She is Twilight Sparkle, And this cute little dragon is named Spike. Ah, maybe. Yunyan was confused. It was clearly what he had in mind. But why? At that moment, Spike breathed out a plume of green fire, which transformed into a scroll. It's a letter from Princess Celestia. Twilight Sparkle's eyes lit up. Spike caught the paper and began to read. By the grace of the heavens, esteemed little Maria, Princess of the Universe, I am pleased to announce that the Galloping Gala will be held in Canterlot, especially inviting Twilight Sparkle to bring a guest to attend the gala. The Galloping Gala. Twilight Sparkle and Applejack jumped with joy, both very happy. Spike, however, looked at them with deadpan eyes. Ugh! A plume of green fire erupted from Spike's mouth again. And this time 2 golden tickets appeared. Are you going, Spike? That's the Galloping Gala. No, I don't want to participate in such a flashy gala. Spike expressed his reluctance. Staying at home is better. Come on, Spike, it's really nice. Not just nice. Applejack chimed in. I really want to go. Just think. If I set up an apple stall there, the ponies would buy my apples like crazy. Then I could renovate the old house into a new one. Get Granny Smith a new pair of legs, and replace Macintosh's old plow with a new one. Applejack's eyes sparkled with imagination. Just then, a figure fell down. And Yunyan reacted instantly, using magic to control the figure to prevent it from crashing into Applejack and Twilight Sparkle. What? Did you just say Galloping Gala? The figure's face was pressed against Yunyan's magic shield, continuously asking Twilight Sparkle. Thank you, Yunyan. Good thing you used magic to control Rainbow Dash. Otherwise, we would have been in trouble, and apples would be everywhere. Yunyan nodded, but he was confused, wondering how he was using magic. When he focused on his magic, the shield controlling Rainbow Dash disappeared, but fortunately, she flew up immediately. I said Rainbow Dash. You told me you were too busy to help pick apples. So what exactly were you busy with? Eavesdropping? No, I was actually busy sleeping. Everyone looked up at the tree, where there were blankets and pillows. Ridiculous. How can a pony sleep in a tree? Yunyan felt his worldview shattered. Wait, this is the pony world, so it's fine. Rainbow Dash flew upside down. Did I just hear you say you got an extra ticket to the Galloping Gala? Chapter 13. Who will get the ticket? Yes, but Twilight Sparkle hasn't finished speaking yet. Rainbow Dash excitedly did a backflip in the air. Yunyan was quite puzzled about what kind of gala could make them so excited and couldn't help but ask. What exactly is the Galloping Gala? Why does it make you all so excited? At this moment, Rainbow Dash noticed Yunyan. It's you. You bad pony. Everyone back off. Let me deal with him. Seeing Rainbow Dash charging at Yunyan, Applejack bit her tail, causing her to fall from the sky face first into the ground. This action made Yunyan unable to hold back his laughter, thinking, no, I can't laugh. Hey, don't be so excited, Rainbow Dash. Yunyan is not a bad pony. Hey, that day, he just fainted. What happened wasn't his doing. Just because you came first doesn't mean you get it first. Oh, really? Are you brave enough to challenge me to a hoof wrestling match? The tension between the 2 little ponies escalated as they directly ran to a tree stump to start the match. Twilight Sparkle couldn't help but push them apart, saying, Girls, this ticket is mine. Whoever has a better reason gets to go with me. Gurgle. Both Yunyan and Spike's stomachs protested simultaneously, and they exchanged a knowing glance before sitting down to eat some apples, silently watching the scene unfold between Twilight and Applejack. He had no right to intervene in their matters. He quietly finished some apples. Spike, do you know where Ponyville is? Gurgle. Yunyan nodded and followed her. Meanwhile, Applejack and Rainbow Dash ran back to the stump to continue their hoof wrestling. Yunyan shook his head. If that mare gave him a kick, he'd probably go meet his great-grandmother. So, you've forgotten what happened before? Yes. I don't know where I came from or why I'm in the Everfree Forest. I only learned about the recent history of Ponyville from the books of the 12 teachers. It's the Everfree Forest. By the way, did you just disappear? Won't the Princess of the Universe and the head of the 12 academies be worried? I don't know. 2 tickets to the Running of the Leaves Festival. Oh, here we go again. Yunyan couldn't help but hold his forehead, until that little pony excitedly described what she wanted to do at the festival. Another white pony and a yellow pony appeared. That was Rarity and Fluttershy. The previous one was Pinkie Pie. Oh, this is troublesome. Yunyan slowly backed away and slipped away because he was really too hungry and wanted to find something to eat first. Spike, what should I do? All 5 of my best friends have valid reasons to attend, but I only have 2 tickets, Twilight Sparkle lamented, starting to pluck petals from the flowers in front of her, muttering the names of her 5 good friends, seemingly trying to decide in this way. They had already arrived outside a restaurant, ready to eat. Have you decided what to order? I don't know. Twilight expressed her frustration loudly, drawing the attention of people around her. Oh, Twilight Sparkle, I just wanted to ask you something. Spike pointed at the menu. Twilight Sparkle instantly resumed her ladylike demeanor and ordered, please bring me a yellow water flower and daisy sandwich. Yin, do you have rubies here? Oh, Spike. Why don't you take a closer look at the menu in your hand? All right, then I'll have a portion of fried hay. Please fry it extra crispy. Spike threw the menu away in dissatisfaction. What? Yin? What are you doing here? And I'm called Twilight Sparkle. Twilight Sparkle looked at Yin in confusion. It would really be an embarrassing story to tell. You guys wait a moment. I'll go get your food. Yin quickly brought out a portion of fried hay and a sandwich, standing beside Twilight Sparkle. I saw so many of your friends going crazy for those tickets. And I was really hungry, so I slipped away. Then I came here and saw other ponies eating, so I ordered a sandwich too. I only realized I had no coins after finishing my meal. Yin was quite speechless. He finished eating only to find he had no currency. When he tried to leave, he was stopped by two ponies in suits with ties and sunglasses, clearly not to be trifled with, and then was assigned by the shop owner to be a waiter. Spike and Twilight Sparkle burst out laughing, putting their previous worries behind them. You're really unlucky, Spike said, clutching his stomach and laughing continuously. All right, I'm pretty foolish too, but it's fine. At least I won't owe the owner anything. Don't you think? You guys take your time eating. I'll go clean the tables. Just as Twilight Sparkle was about to start eating her sandwich, a large group of ponies ran past them, and Twilight Sparkle hadn't reacted yet. Hey, Twilight, it's raining. Do you still want to eat outside? Huh, where is it raining? Twilight Sparkle looked around. Everyone else was getting wet. She looked up to see a whole patch of dark clouds, and only she was dry. My best friend in the whole world, do you like this good weather? Rainbow Dash appeared cheerfully above the clouds. Rainbow Dash, what are you doing? What do you mean, what am I doing? I just saw the best little pony in the world eating, about to get soaked by the rain. So I kicked a hole in the cloud to let her enjoy this delicious lunch. Twilight Sparkle looked displeased. Rainbow Dash, are you being so nice to me because you want me to think more about who to take with me? Oh, how could that be? I'm nice to everyone. Twilight looked around. Several ponies were running around trying to avoid the rain. Listen, Rainbow, I don't like it when someone gives me special treatment for no reason. So please close the cloud immediately. Oh, Rainbow Dash looked disappointed, but still closed up the cloud. Just when Twilight Sparkle was happy and ready to eat lunch, a heavy downpour came down. The rain pelted down on the umbrella. It was Yin who was shielding them. Wow, thank you, Yin. Without you, my lunch and I would have turned into a drenched pony. You're welcome, Twilight. Yin handed an umbrella to Twilight. I already told you, my name is Twilight Sparkle. That doesn't stop you from recognizing that I'm calling you, does it? By the way, Spike, why are you eating this as a dragon? You should be living in the Dragonlands, right? I remember the books from the teacher said dragons like gems. Twilight Sparkle, it's raining. Oh, what? Twilight Sparkle mumbled, her mouth full of sandwich. Meanwhile, Spike's eyes sparkled, turning into hearts. Oh, the smell of love, so sour and stinky, Yin thought as he distanced himself from Spike. Watching Rarity pull Twilight Sparkle away. Ah, it's quiet now. Yin wiped the non-existent sweat from his forehead, surprised that Spike actually liked ponies. He was a dragon after all. This was quite a revelation. Hey, I said, how long are you going to linger here? Of course, the longer the better. That lousy boss thinks I'm just dealing with customers. Yin paused. Wait, that voice was. All right, how dare you slack off here? Hurry up and go over there. A customer wants to place an order. Yes. Yin ran away like the wind, trying to escape this awkward situation. It wasn't until the rain had mostly stopped that Yin finished his day. Everyone seemed to have disappeared. The owner, seeing that Yin was doing well, even gave him some coins. The owner was pretty nice. If I stayed here, maybe I could work there. Run. A voice echoed throughout Ponyville. And Yin slowly walked towards the sound. No. Why are there so many ponies? What are they doing? I'm going to crash. Run. Yin. Twilight Sparkle's voice reached Yin's ears, and he instinctively turned and ran, with Twilight Sparkle and Spike right behind him, and a large group of crazy ponies behind them. They hid behind a cart full of apples and were about to rest when they were spotted by ponies inside the building. Twilight Sparkle grabbed Yin, and they took off running. What is happening? They disguised as an elderly couple pushing a baby carriage on the street and pretended to be models in another pony-esque clothing store. What Yin found absurd was how they managed to hold on without falling under the bridge. Until they ran into a dead end. This group of ponies was chanting, "Take me with you. Give me the tickets." Yin was dumbfounded. What? These two tickets have such charm? The desires on you guys have already materialized. Yin felt dizzy from this overwhelming desire. In this urgent situation, Yin's horn burst forth with pure blue light. And in an instant, he, Twilight Sparkle, and Spike disappeared. This is where Yin's heavy head caused him to kneel on the ground. Spike also felt dizzy and trouble. Next time, remind me before using this trick. Are you okay, Yin? Hurry. Close all the doors and windows. Twilight Sparkle flashed to the door, locked it tightly, then ran to the windows, securing them and turning off all the lights before finally taking a deep breath. Thank you. Yunyan, without you, I might have been trapped in that alley. You're welcome. Yunyan's voice trembled, his head spinning with desire. Yunyan shook his head and felt a bit better. I can't believe 2 tickets could make you all so crazy. It's unbearable. Ahahaha, because that's the celebration all the little ponies want to attend. But why did you run with us? Twilight Sparkle helped Yunyan up, looking puzzled. No, what do you mean I ran with you? You charged straight at me, followed by a large group of ponies. If I didn't run, would I just wait to be trampled? Yunyan complained. He definitely didn't want to be crushed by hooves. Now he was regretting his life. Twilight Sparkle showed an awkward but polite smile. She knew that any normal pony would have run in that situation. Suddenly, the whole room turned cold. Twilight Sparkle turned around and saw her best friends holding their heads in despair. I can't decide. Her friends looked at Twilight Sparkle with surprise. I know you all want to go, but I only have 2 tickets. I don't want to disappoint any of you. You're all my good friends. And I hope you all can be happy. But I can't do it. Twilight Sparkle collapsed, holding her head. Her friends exchanged glances at her state. I'm so sorry. Dear, I put so much pressure on you. If that's the case, I'd rather not have the tickets. I won't be angry, I promise. Applejack came over to Twilight Sparkle, comforting her, followed by Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, and Rarity. Yunyan quietly stepped aside, feeling the warmth of the scene. The aura they emitted symbolized friendship and the essence of companionship. Even though this event was very appealing to ponies, they only cared about each other. Is this what true friends are? Yunyan thought silently. Their auras connected, soft and forming a rainbow, dazzlingly bright. Dear, you don't have to do this. No, I've made up my mind. Burp. Now we can all go. Twilight Sparkle happily announced the news. However, it seems the little pony the princess of the universe is looking for is right here. Rainbow Dash pointed at Yunyan, who was sitting in the corner. Suddenly, the atmosphere became awkward, until Fluttershy screamed. Fluttershy was so scared she hid behind Applejack, and Pinkie Pie immediately threw a cupcake at Yunyan. The cupcake hit Yunyan squarely in the face, and he fell to the ground, feeling hopeless. Hey, stop, Pinkie Pie. Yunyan isn't what you think. Twilight Sparkle stopped the still willing to throw cake Pinkie Pie and pulled Yunyan up. My goodness, Pinkie, how do you always pull out these weird things? Are you carrying this space with you? Yunyan wiped the cream off his face with a helpless expression. Chapter 15. Dream So, this is how he came to Ponyville? Pinkie Pie looked incredulous. The other ponies felt the same. Yes, I also find it unbelievable. Logically, teleportation magic shouldn't reach such a far distance. It requires a strong magical foundation. Twilight Sparkle also looked puzzled, wondering what kind of magic could reach such a distance. Even a train takes a long time to travel. I think we should report to the princess of the universe. It feels urgent to find Yunyan. Fluttershy reminded from the side. Spike, write a letter. Okay, ma'am. Happy to serve. It wasn't until a burst of fire was blown out that everyone carefully examined Yunyan. Only Fluttershy didn't dare to approach. The other ponies had already surrounded Yunyan. His mane is so unique and smooth, even more beautiful than ours. I think I have new inspiration. Rarity's eyes sparkled as she looked at Yunyan like he was a gem. Isn't that right, Rarity? He doesn't look like a male pony at all. He is so pretty he looks like a mare. Pinkie Pie grabbed Yunyan's mane and couldn't resist touching it. Yunyan was startled and instantly used magic to appear at the door. Guys, I'm leaving. Hey, Pinkie Pie, how can you touch someone else's mane like that? Pinkie Pie immediately deflated, visibly becoming disappointed. Oh, sorry, I couldn't help myself. Burp. At that moment, Spike spat out a letter from the princess of the universe. Dear Twilight Sparkle, it's great to find Yunyan. It's already too late today, so I hope you can let him stay with you for one night. Tomorrow, the head of the 12th Research Institute will come to take him away. Oh no. After hearing everything, Twilight Sparkle felt as if the sky was collapsing. Ponyville is so big. Where am I going to find him? Pinkie Pie jumped up upon hearing this. I'll go. If that's the case. Then take me too. Applejack was the first to join in. Then let us race to see who gets there faster. Rainbow Dash flew straight up. In the end, everyone joined in the search for Yunyan, while Yunyan was quietly walking along the road. What a hassle. It seems I'm still not suited for having friends. Yunyan sighed lightly. He reached a lakeside, slowly lay down, and looked at his reflection in the moonlight once again. Will time be happy to see this? Yunyan silently smiled. But strangely, tears kept falling from the corners of his eyes. What am I sad about? Tears kept dripping, creating ripples on the quiet lake surface. Unbeknownst to him, Yunyan fell asleep while lying there. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew through the air. But that wind formed an invisible and heavy wall of air that lightly covered Yunyan. Where am I? Yunyan woke up with a start. The glaring sunlight shone on his face, and he couldn't help but shield his eyes with his hand. Yunyan observed his surroundings. Familiar bed, desk, computer. And that pony doll that appeared from nowhere. This is my home. This isn't a dream. Yunyan got up and grabbed the calendar beside him. April 23rd. This is the day everything happened. Suddenly, Yunyan's door was opened. A young woman walked in. Yunyan, what are you doing? Get out of bed. The woman walked over to Yunyan and pinched his ear, the pain constantly stimulating him. But Yunyan hugged her tightly. This is all real. What's real or not, you child? Did you have a nightmare? The woman gently stroked Yunyan's head, filled with tenderness. Yunyan slowly raised his head, suddenly breaking out in a cold sweat. The woman's face was rotting, with maggots crawling on it. Only a small amount of skin showed signs of having been severely burned. Yunyan pushed the woman away. No, you're not my mother. Who are you? The woman's face began to twist and turn, becoming frantic. What? I turned into this because of you. If you had saved us that day, we wouldn't have become like this. Why are you still alive? You should suffer like us. Suddenly, a man appeared behind the woman, also with extensive burns, but his resentful eyes were fixed on Yunyan, constantly screaming. Come join us. Why are you still alive? Why aren't you dead? The two of them drew closer, their bodies already engulfed in flames, the surrounding environment catching fire. The furry areas turning to ashes, the walls turning red. Just as they were about to touch Yunyan's face, a starry-colored magic instantly shattered them, along with the entire room. Yunyan began to fall into the void. Fear enveloped his entire body. That was death. Meanwhile, in the outside world, Yunyan's body was already being eroded by dark magic. Half of the body had already merged into the darkness. From a distance, it looked like a little pony with only half its body remaining. Get away, nightmare. A ethereal voice rang out, and a powerful magic instantly dispersed the gathering nightmare. The owner of that magic quickly flew to catch Yunyan, supporting him with her back. They slowly landed on a mirror-like surface reflecting a sea of red roses. She held Yunyan tightly in her arms, feeling a twinge of pain, but more so anger. Your death is imminent. The figure gently set Yunyan down. Huge blood-red wings spread wide, and her starry eyes were filled with indifference. She took out a scythe and began to slaughter ruthlessly in this space. The nightmares hiding in the shadows were found one by one and brutally killed. Powerful magical waves filled the entire space. Those nightmares trembled. They were not yet truly strong and could only hide deeper within themselves, until the figure had slaughtered all the nightmares in the shallow parts of the space. The mirror of red roses transformed into white roses. She held Yunyan's head tightly against her chest, gently stroking his forehead. Yunyan transformed from a human into a little pony. She touched his horn with her own, and pink-purple light flickered. Meanwhile, the dark magic enveloping Yunyan emitted a strong glow, dispelling the magic that had originally eroded most of his body. Even if we want to be far apart, I can still protect you. The figure gently kissed Yunyan's forehead and slowly began to dissipate. Yunyan woke up. He was still by the lakeside. However, the layer of wind that had covered him had disappeared, and beside him stood a deep blue pony. You're awake. Chapter 16. Teacher, are you okay? You're awake. Luna stood quietly beside him, watching Yunyan. Hey. Yunyan suddenly stood up, awkwardly retreating a few steps. So close. It's inappropriate for a boy and girl to be this close. Luna stood silently, a bit confused. Am I that scary? She looked at herself. Yunyan couldn't help but observe Luna. Deep blue body, sky blue flowing mane like a starry sky, azure eyes, and that black crown. So beautiful. Yunyan was a bit mesmerized. Luna noticed Yunyan staring at her, her face slightly flushed as she lowered her head. Her soft voice reached Yunyan's ears. I don't like you calling me that. Luna glared at Yunyan with some annoyance, making him feel a chill down his spine. He couldn't help but step back 2 steps, which only made Luna angrier. Call me Princess Luna. Yunyan was very respectful, fearing that Luna might send him to heaven if she got unstable. Zap! A magical bolt struck the ground beside Yunyan, leaving a black pit. Call me Luna. Luna was a bit angry, magic swirling around her horn. Why is this pony so dull? Okay, Luna. No problem, Luna. Yunyan responded with a fake smile. No, seriously, what's wrong with you? Did I offend you somehow? Yunyan didn't know why he felt so uncomfortable around Luna. He felt bound and feared making her unhappy. Luna cast a beam of light into the sky. A chariot pulled by 2 Pegasi came running towards them. Luna flew up and sat down skillfully. You get up here. Luna pointed at Yunyan, her tone full of command. Isn't this a bit inappropriate, Luna? You're a princess, and I'm just a unicorn. Luna's horn glowed with magic. Hey, don't get angry. I'm coming up. Yunyan hesitantly climbed onto the chariot, sitting next to Luna, but keeping his distance. He felt like there were needles under him, quite uncomfortable. The 2 Pegasi took off, soaring into the sky with the chariot. This isn't possible. Why can this thing fly? Yunyan's eyes were filled with disbelief, afraid he would fall at any moment. Don't worry, it won't fall, Luna's gentle voice reassured him. She stared ahead, resisting the urge to glance at Yunyan. Yunyan gradually adapted to sitting in this peculiar vehicle. But what made him more nervous was the princess sitting next to him. The air grew quiet, and both Yunyan and Luna tacitly chose not to speak. Why do you refer to yourself as I? To ease the awkwardness, Yunyan brought up a topic. Luna's eyes brightened but then dimmed again. Why do you have to touch my sore spot when looking for a topic? I believe you read about my and my sister's story in the 12th book. I have been banished for 1,000 years, and so much has changed in that time. Yunyan felt Luna's sense of loss and disorientation. It was then he realized he had said something wrong, hurriedly apologizing. I'm sorry, Luna. I didn't mean to bring it up. Luna smiled and gazed intently at Yunyan. It's fine. At least I seem to have discovered something remarkable. Luna hooked her hoof under Yunyan's chin, forcing him to look into her eyes, which were filled with tenderness. Yunyan's face instantly turned bright red, and he quickly turned his head away, unable to look at Luna. Luna maintained her composure, but inside, her feelings were in turmoil. Why did I do that? That's not like you, Luna. How bold. He won't think I'm a bad pony, right? I can't believe it. What the heck? The princess flirted with me. What is happening? The air fell silent again until they reached the castle of Canterlot. The Pegasi brought Luna and Yunyan to the entrance. 12 had been waiting there for a long time. My dear little Yunyan, I missed you so much. 12 rushed over and hugged Yunyan tightly, dramatically crying and speaking in exaggerated tones, holding him tightly. Get away from me. Old dang, just seeing you annoys me. Yunyan couldn't push 12 away, feeling completely disgusted as his tears spilled all over Yunyan. Little Yunyan, I'm sorry. Don't be mad at me anymore. I promise I won't treat you like that next time. Hee hee. Can't my heartfelt performance win his forgiveness? I'm truly a genius. Teacher, get away. Yunyan pushed 12's face away gloomily. You're so gross, old dang. Fine, fine. I forgive you. I know you're doing it for my sake. Yunyan's heart softened despite the exaggerated actions and expressions of his teacher. After all, she was his teacher. Really, little Yunyan? 12 looked at Yunyan with tear-filled eyes. Before 12 could say the next sentence, a magical beam instantly struck 12, knocking him unconscious against the castle door. Get lost. Luna's eyes sparkled, her magic ready to unleash. The first strike was just a warning. The next one wouldn't be so easy. Luna herself didn't know why seeing him hug Yunyan made her feel uneasy, and she couldn't help but want to hit him. Teacher, are you okay? Yunyan hurriedly ran to 12's side to catch him. Looking at his teacher, Yunyan silently prayed. Ouch, how tragic. Is this what happens when you provoke Luna? Damn. Looks like Princess Luna has someone she likes. One of the two Pegasi whispered. Maybe, bro. Her behavior is just like being jealous. The two Pegasi in the back leaned their heads together, whispering. But they didn't know that a little pony was watching them from behind. I suggest you better keep what happened today to yourselves. Luna appeared behind them, two big warning signs appearing above their heads. The two Pegasi covered their mouths with their hooves and nodded frantically. How tragic. Yunyan couldn't help but mumble as he quickly walked to Luna. Don't be angry, Luna. I'm going in first. The cosmic princess should be waiting for me. Yunyan waved his hoof and immediately left that place of trouble. Chapter 17. Deceiving the teacher and meeting Luna, Your Highness, the cosmic princess. May I ask what you need from me? Yunyan slowly walked in, while Celestia was busy processing a long list of tasks. Next to her was an exquisite gift box. Your Highness? Celestia set the long list aside. She had been awakened last night by a nightmare, a dream capable of destroying the entire world. The feeling from that dream was identical to the magic emitted by Yunyan that day. This compelled Celestia to summon Yunyan for clarification. Did anything happen last night? Yunyan? Celestia was very serious, continuously scrutinizing Yunyan, which made him quite uncomfortable. No, Your Highness, I just slept last night. Nothing happened during that time. Yunyan lowered his head, clearly seeing the look of doubt and trust on Celestia's face. After pondering for a moment, Celestia said, Come here, Yunyan. Yunyan slowly approached, and Celestia quickly gathered her magic. She cast the spell upon Yunyan, who felt warmth and a sensation as if something was being locked away. A glow flickered on Yunyan and then gradually faded. Okay, if something like that happens again, I believe I will know immediately, Celestia said. Understood, Your Highness. Yunyan replied. Celestia smiled and quietly picked up the lists, continuing to deal with the affairs of Canterlot. It's nothing, little pony. I just cast a small spell. Well then, Your Highness, is there anything else? Celestia handed the gift box to Yunyan. My sister should be resting right now, as she will continue to govern the country tonight. Please take this to Luna for me. Huh. Yunyan's eyes widened. Wait, what? I just ran away for a bit, and now I have to go again. All right then. Celestia chuckled at Yunyan's unwilling expression, though she couldn't show it. Could you please place the gift box on my back, Your Highness? Oh, you still can't use magic? Yunyan frowned, confused. Actually, I don't really understand it either. I can't usually use my magic. I can only use it in emergencies. It seems you're not very skilled. You should let 12 help you with that. Huh, that old guy? No, wait. Teacher 12. Yunyan questioned, disapproving of his teaching methods. Don't underestimate 12. His magic is quite magical. Fine, Your Highness. Please use magic to put the gift box on my back. I'll deliver it to Luna. Celestia placed the gift box on Yunyan's back and magically secured it to prevent it from falling. Watching Yunyan walk out the door, she couldn't help but laugh. How endearing. As Yunyan reached the door, he saw 12 still dazed on the ground and kicked him lightly. Teacher, stop pretending. Luna has left. Yunyan kept tapping 12's face with his hooves, a bit vengefully. Suddenly, 12 vanished and appeared behind Yunyan, wrapping his arms around his neck. Little Yunyan, why are your hooves so painful? 12's face was slightly swollen, clearly from Yunyan's kick. However, Yunyan remained unfazed. Luna, 12 hastily let go of Yunyan, turned around, and lowered himself to the ground. Your Highness, I was just bonding with little Yunyan. 12 slowly raised his head, only to realize his fur was gone. Turning back, he found Yunyan had already vanished. 12's voice echoed throughout the castle. Phew, that old guy just wants to deal with me. But where is Luna's chamber? Oh, I remember it's this direction. Yunyan slowly wandered around the palace, admiring the surroundings while attempting to use his magic. Strangely, no matter how he tried, it didn't work. How odd, I refuse to believe this. I mean, am I really this useless? Yunyan couldn't help but complain as he arrived at a large door. This should be it. He quietly pushed the door open and tiptoed inside. It was very dark, with a pleasant scent. The curtains were drawn, and only faint light streamed in, while the ceiling sparkled like stars appearing at night. So beautiful. Yunyan thought it was very nice. He particularly liked this kind of environment. On the bed, covered with silk, lay Luna, the little pony softly making sounds in her sleep. Yunyan slowly approached the bedside. Wait, I can't use magic. How do I take this gift box off? Yunyan couldn't help but slap his own face with his hoof, feeling foolish. It was impossible to ask Luna to help him take it down. He carefully knelt beside the nightstand, stabilizing the gift box as it slid down smoothly onto the table. I really am a genius, hee. Oh no, how cute. Luna slept peacefully, her face half covered by the blanket. It seemed the fragrance in the room emanated from her, making it hard for Yunyan to move. She's so beautiful. Yunyan quietly gazed at her, then suddenly shook his head. She's a princess. Just say you want to die. Yunyan turned around, forcing himself to leave. Just then, a lazy voice sounded. Are you leaving so soon, little Yunyan? Chapter 18. Disharmony and the Spirit of Mischief. How did you end up in my chamber? Luna's lavender eyes sparkled in the dimly lit room. She seemed excited at Yunyan's arrival, but suppressed it well, her tone very cold. Yunyan instantly froze, unsure whether to stay or go, and stiffly turned his head like a robot. Hello, Luna. By the way, I just came to deliver a gift box. Yunyan quickly explained why he had intruded into her chamber, his expression a mix of forced smiles and anxiety. Fearing that Luna would punish him for barging into the royal chamber and expel him from Canterlot. Just as he was spiraling into worry, Luna interrupted him. Did you come to bring me food? Luna frowned slightly, and Yunyan began to sweat profusely. What is she doing, frowning? Is she really going to punish me? You can leave now, Luna's cold voice rang out. Huh? What do you mean, huh? I said you can leave. You're not punishing me? Yunyan wiped non-existent sweat from his brow. Why would I punish you? Luna looked confused. Am I really that scary? Yunyan breathed a sigh of relief. Well, I was just delivering food as instructed by the Cosmic Princess. Why am I so nervous? Fearing that Luna might change her mind, Yunyan turned and dashed away, moving faster than a rabbit. Oh, teacher, why are you still at the palace entrance? Yunyan couldn't help but cover his face with his hooves. He turned to walk in another direction, not wanting to run into his teacher again. Yunyan exited the palace through a small path. Hiss, where is this? Yunyan stopped, realizing he didn't know where he was. Before him stood only a maze. Oh, it seems I've gotten lost again, but there are quite a few sculptures. Not bad. Yunyan wandered around until he came across a strange statue, an eagle's claws, a bear's paw, and a snake's tail. Previously, there had been a chimera, but this one looked nothing like anything. Confusing. This was the first thought that popped into Yunyan's mind. He slowly approached the statue, wanting to take a closer look. Hey, what are you doing? Hearing the voice, Yunyan turned around and saw the Cosmic Princess, so he greeted her. Your Highness, I was just wandering around, but I found something quite interesting. You are nothing at all. You wretched, evil spirit. Someone muttered, but no one knew. Dear Yunyan, I think you are right. It is the Longma, the spirit of discord and chaos. Its body is composed of various animals, and we also call it disorder. Celestia approached the sculpture, wrapping it in magic as if checking something. Sounds impressive. Does it have any kin? Enian was very curious. This creature he had never seen before must be shocking to witness in person. No way, little Enian. If it has kin, the whole Pony Maria will go completely mad. Celestia was very serious. Having finished inspecting the sculpture, she approached Enian. How did Luna sleep? Celestia particularly emphasized the words how did she sleep, almost teasingly. Enian instantly blushed. Please don't joke with me, haha. I'm serious. Little Enian, I heard from my guards that she's in the carriage, cough cough. The rest was self-explanatory. And Enian turned to run. You should stop being so gossipy. Enian wanted to leave this place of gossip quickly. Who could stand being teased like this? Celestia covered her mouth and smiled. I didn't expect teasing little Enian to be so interesting. What a shy little pony. Celestia also took off and left. If Enian had stayed, he would have found that the smell of this sculpture and its chaotic colors had completely materialized. That is the abyss, the chaos. What? Why is there such a huge contrast in the cosmic princess? She seems like a gentle and caring big sister, but turns out to be a gossipy and mischievous one. Who can handle this? Enian held his head, feeling so embarrassed he could dig a hole to bury himself. Luna found out about being teased by Luna. Let it be destroyed. I'm tired. He's so special, he attracts me. Luna murmured to herself in her chamber. In fact, she had already woken up as soon as Enian entered the room. In the 1,000 years of her banishment, she had never slept well, always needing to guard against creatures on the moon and resist nightmares. However, when Enian looked at her, she felt at ease, and her long-dormant heart began to beat again. But why do I want to possess him when I've only seen him a few times? Luna was puzzled, but thinking of Enian made her very happy. A feeling she hadn't experienced since the old man was still around with her sister. Tomorrow, I will go find him. Luna made up her mind and stared at the gift box on the cabinet before quietly falling asleep. The corners of her mouth had already unconsciously curled up. Even though I control dreams, I still need sweet dreams. This was the last sentence Luna said before falling asleep. Chapter 19. Emotional Magic Teacher, you're here again. Enian popped out from behind 12, unable to hold back his laughter as he looked at the wooden bed that had already been dented. If it were him, he would definitely be covered in bruises. Ahaha, so early, my little apprentice. 12, feeling guilty, hid the feather duster behind his back. Ever since Enian came to 12's house, he had to be woken up at 6 every day by this kind of beating. He always woke up in pain. They said it was to enhance focus for learning magic, but what does it mean to hit so hard? If I hadn't put a piece of wood down, I wouldn't have known you were so ruthless every morning. Enian glanced at 12, magic gathering at his horn, and 12, realizing the situation, quickly conjured a shield. Oh no. 12 was knocked out of the room by Enian's magic, crashing against the table. The table was overturned. Teacher, your duster is too conspicuous. Enian walked up to 12, somewhat displeased. The magic at his horn dissipated. It's okay. After all these days of experimentation, I finally discovered your magical characteristics. 12 slowly got up and used magic to restore the chaos on the table. Magical characteristics? What is that? Enian temporarily set aside his displeasure with 12, filled with curiosity. He had never heard of such a thing. However, the magic at Enian's horn also disappeared. Your magic is quite strange. It seems to be related to your emotions. 12 leisurely poured a cup of tea from the table. When you are very calm, your magic is minimal and basically unusable. But look, 12 conjured a scene surrounding them. This is when you're angry. When you're angry, the magic from your unicorn horn is most intense, and your magic will carry a bit of red, significantly increasing in power in an instant. The image blurred, transforming into a scene of 12 teaching Enian to cook in the kitchen, playfully throwing flour at each other. Enian was using magic to control the flour, continuously hitting 12 with it. And when you're happy, your magic will carry some pink. It's gentle and more suitable for everyday needs. The image blurred again, showing Enian when he was sad, seemingly reading a novel, lost in sorrow. And when you're sad, your horn will automatically release magic, carrying unimaginable magical power, but I cannot determine what its effect is. Moreover, I can clearly see your hooves turning black. But after a while, they return to normal. It's really strange. 12 took a sip of tea and slowly recounted the changes and research on magic that Enian had experienced at home these past few days. To be honest, after studying magic for so long, he had never discovered a pony's magic could be so extraordinary. However, Enian didn't have a cute mark, which was unexplainable. Teacher, are you saying my magic comes from my emotions? Enian tilted his head, very puzzled. If that is the case, then it wouldn't be surprising to release magic at certain times. But the conditions are too harsh. 12 threw a book at Enian's face. This is your plan book. Learn it yourself. I need to go to the palace to study magic. Your next task is to learn how to guide it. No, teacher, how do I guide it? Enian hadn't finished speaking when 12 had already slipped away, leaving Enian looking bewildered. Teacher. 12 whistled as he walked down the road, looking somewhat proud. Let me see your talent, little apprentice. Swish, swish. One stone after another came flying from all directions, and in the middle, a little pony seemed to be dodging continuously. While dodging, he seemed to be trying to release something, but he simply couldn't manage to do so. What is this again, teacher? You're not trying to trick me, are you? This little pony was Enian. He opened the teacher's plan book, which read, 1. Based on your magical characteristics, I have devised a method. In urgent situations, you may use magic. At that moment, your magic requires you to comprehend and seek out, rather than just charging it with your horn. But you didn't right how to seek it. Darn old dang. Enian had already cursed this old man in his heart countless times. Suspecting this was just a revenge plot, he had been practicing since morning, and not only had he not seen any magic, he was covered in bruises instead. Thud. Exhausted, Enian collapsed on the ground, and the launchers around him seemed to sense something and stopped throwing stones. Enian was surrounded by stones, which already indicated he had worked hard. Director 12, do you think Enian's magic truly contains the power to destroy the world? Your Highness, the Cosmic Princess, whether or not, Enian is still a good child. However, his magic is indeed tricky, but I am confident I can guide him onto the right path. At this moment, Celestia and 12 were watching Enian's training from the sky. 12 had cast floating and cloaking spells, allowing them to fly without Enian noticing them. At this moment, 12 was firmly staring into Celestia's eyes. He didn't want to give up on this child. Sigh, all right. Director 12, I believe in you. Thank you, great Cosmic Princess. They silently observed Yunyan's movements in the sky, mainly because Celestia was afraid that Yunyan's magic would be uncontrollable like that day. The 12 called that day's incident a magic rampage, meaning that uncontrollable magic erupted. This indicated that Yunyan's magical power was very strong, stronger than any princess, even when combined. But what they didn't know was how much of that power truly belonged to Yunyan. Destruction, I'm tired. Yunyan slumped to the ground, devoid of any desire to live. He had been hit by stones over and over again, his body bruised and battered. Yunyan pondered, what exactly is magical power? If what my teacher said is true, that my magic changes according to my emotions, then does that mean they are alive? Yunyan was shocked by his own thoughts. If magic is alive, then does that mean I can communicate with it? After a moment of contemplation, Yunyan decided to give it a try. He turned over, lay down, rested his head on his hooves, and closed his eyes. Is he asleep? Celestia watched as Yunyan lay down, thinking he had fallen asleep. Looking at the sun, it seemed to be dusk. Celestia nodded. It was indeed time to rest. She had witnessed how hard Yunyan worked just to release magic. When he was exhausted, he would rest, and then continue once he regained his strength, regardless of whether he was in pain. As for the 12, he had long gone to study magic. The sun should be setting soon. Celestia murmured as she left the area. Meanwhile, Yunyan seemed to have fallen asleep, but his consciousness had already entered the realm of the unicorn. Chapter 20. The vast sea of stars hiss. Where is this? Damn. What is all this? Yunyan opened his eyes to a shocking sight. He was in a starry sky, with massive clusters of light above him. The tiny Yunyan gazed around. They were surrounded by black flowing bands, like planetary rings. But they were swirling around the glowing masses, not just orbiting them. Yunyan floated as those lights seemed to see him and rushed toward him. The enormous lights could easily be said to be crashing toward Yunyan. Having never seen such a scene, he was frightened and covered himself with a hoof. However, as the lights approached Yunyan, they continually shrank, turning into balls the size of his hooves, floating before him, scaring the life out of me. I'm developing a fear of giants. Yunyan patted his chest with his hoof, trying to comfort himself. He could feel the emotions of the lights before him. There was anger, sadness, sorrow, various emotions, or rather, it was Yunyan's own emotions swirling and suddenly bursting forth upwards. The entire space began to flow. Yunyan was shrinking, but he was unaware of it. After flowing, those lights formed a sea of stars. Could it be that those emotions are my magic? Or my magical power? Yunyan fell into deep thought. Regardless of whether it was magic or magical power, this sea of stars was too vast. It must be terrifying. Yunyan tentatively pointed his horn at the sea of stars. A miraculous thing happened. In an instant, the sea of stars transformed into nothingness and rushed into Yunyan's horn. They were leaping and cheering, as if welcoming their rightful master. However, soon the scene changed. The void slowly began to enter Yunyan's horn. The once jubilant sea of stars became quiet and trembled. This was his own essence. Shoo! The prostrate Yunyan suddenly stood up, and his horn erupted with powerful magical energy shooting up into the sky. It was silent, as if merging with the night. The night had already risen, but the night sky was devoid of life. That powerful magical energy seemed to have entered the night sky, and the originally moonlit sky was now filled with countless stars. At that moment, Luna in the palace felt something and inexplicably looked in a certain direction. My magical power has increased. Luna was puzzled yet delighted. This was a windfall. Now her magic had come a step closer, and she had more resources to deal with nightmares. Meanwhile, Celestia, who had already lain down, felt the immense magical power immediately. She quickly found Luna. Did you feel that, sister? It's nothing, sister. It's Yunyan. Celestia frowned. Is everything okay, Luna? Luna turned her head and hugged Celestia. It's fine, sister. Look, my magical power has increased. It seems to be because of Yunyan. Celestia looked incredulous but quickly set it aside. That's truly good news, sister. In that case, I will go rest. Luna was filled with joy, a glimmer of light flashing in her eyes, not knowing what she was thinking. At this time, Yunyan was overjoyed. I did it. Ha! Yunyan kept jumping on the ground, happy that he had learned magic. His horn continually emitted magical power. Very strong magical power. You have great talent. Little Yunyan. Teacher, you really live a comfortable life. Instead of being happy, Yunyan gritted his teeth and glared at the 12. Ah! Oh dear, it's fine. Little Yunyan, see? Even without me, you learned it. The 12 quickly stood up from the lounge chair and hurriedly brought desserts and juice to Yunyan's mouth. Here. You've trained for so long. You must be hungry. The 12 also realized he hadn't been caring enough for his student, so he felt a bit sorry. But he was also eager to see his student's talent. However, this unusual behavior from the 12 made Yunyan a bit uncomfortable. Yunyan easily manipulated the juice and desserts with his magic. Just in time, I'm hungry. Woof. He swallowed a dessert in one bite. Tastes just like what the teacher baked. It's good. Although the teacher is very unreliable, he really cares about me. Thank you, teacher. Yunyan finished the snack in his mouth and hugged the 12. He hadn't experienced this feeling in a long time. The 12 was momentarily stunned when hugged, then smiled and patted Yunyan's back. The 12 couldn't help but stroke Yunyan's head. Yunyan swatted the 12's hoof away. Don't touch my head, or I won't grow tall, teacher. All right. I will use my peripheral vision to light your way. Teacher, where are we going today? Little Yunyan. You haven't gone out for a long time. If this continues, you'll regress, so you must go out for a walk. Yunyan lay down, flipping through a book titled Biography of Little Maria, as if he hadn't heard the 12 calling him. Little Yunyan. The feather duster landed on Yunyan's backside, making him grimace in pain. Seeing the feather duster about to strike him again, Yunyan hurriedly responded. I'm going. Teacher. The 12 put down the feather duster and, before leaving, gave Yunyan some coins. I heard the Sky City is holding a contest for the best young flyer. You can go take a look. Okay, teacher. Yunyan hung his head, constantly rubbing the spot that had been hit. It really hurts. By the way, the Sky City is all clouds. You, as a unicorn, can't stand on them, so you should look for a magic that allows you to stand on the clouds. After speaking, the 12 instantly disappeared from the spot, as he had an important research to attend to, using magic to go to the research institute. A magic that allows me to stand on clouds. Yunyan stroked his chin, falling into deep thought. Chapter 21. Rainbow Sonic Boom, where is it? Where is it? Yunyan took one book after another from the bookshelf, constantly searching for a magic that could grow wings. He remembered seeing one on a certain night. Found it. A book titled Advanced Magic Encyclopedia was pulled out by Yunyan, with bookmarks he had made. He quickly found the magic. Oh, this seems a bit difficult. Yunyan looked serious, gradually gathering magic on his horn. He manipulated the factors within the magic, constantly changing them. After all, the Pegasus also possesses magic, and that magic is the innate wings of the Pegasus. All he needed to do was slowly transform the magic into wings. Yunyan slowly floated up, beads of sweat forming on his forehead, as the magic gradually wrapped around him like a silkworm. Boom! The silkworm made of magic instantly exploded, scattering the magic into points of light that disappeared. I did it. Am I that amazing? But these wings are so ugly. A pair of transparent wings with some holes grew on Yunyan's body. They had no color and looked very mismatched with Yunyan's figure. Hiss. I should find a spell that lets me stand on clouds instead. The wings instantly shattered and fell to the ground, while Yunyan continued to search for something in the book. Hey, this one will do. Yunyan gathered his magic again. This time, there was no birth of wings. All right, so should I head to Ponyville now? Yunyan stroked his chin, slung his bag over his shoulder, and felt it carefully. He instantly disappeared from his spot. When Yunyan reappeared, he was in front of a bookshop. He gently knocked on the door. Hello, is anyone home? Hey, Pinkie Pie, wait a moment. I'll go open the door. Twilight Sparkle interrupted Pinkie Pie's enthusiastic speech, making her a bit unhappy. With a creak, the door opened. Twilight Sparkle was a bit happy. She thought she wouldn't see Yunyan until after the Great Galloping Gala. Haha, it's a long story. Can I come in? Yunyan smiled gently. His eyes filled with anticipation. Of course, please come in. It might be a bit messy inside, don't mind it. Yunyan walked into the bookshop, which was already filled with books, leaving hardly any space to stand. Standing further inside were Applejack, Pinkie Pie, Rarity, Fluttershy, and Rainbow Dash. Yunyan was a bit dazed. Did an earthquake happen? This is ridiculous. Ha! We had actually organized everything before, just as everyone was about to take a break. A pesky little pony messed up our organization. Rainbow Dash awkwardly covered her face with her wings. She didn't mean to, everyone. Fluttershy's voice was very soft, but everyone could hear it. Hey, Yunyan, you're here too. Applejack was very happy because she was quite satisfied with Yunyan's speed in picking apples, which she remembered clearly. So cool. Rarity had a starry-eyed look. Twilight Sparkle felt a bit helpless, but there was nothing she could do about it. It's you? It's you. It's you. Pinkie Pie became restless the moment she saw Yunyan bouncing around the entire living room. Wow, is she really that amazing? Pinkie Pie slid to her knees in front of Yunyan, her two hooves together, very apologetic. I'm sorry for scaring you that time. I've realized my mistake. Please forgive me. Pinkie Pie spoke extremely quickly, her big, sparkling eyes pleading with Yunyan. This sudden scene shocked Yunyan greatly. He quickly used magic to lift Pinkie Pie up. It's okay, Pinkie. I was the one who overreacted. Here, try the pastries I made. I know you love pastries the most. Yunyan was very gentle, distributing pieces of sweets to everyone. It seems Yunyan isn't angry, Pinkie Pie. This pastry is quite delicious. Applejack bit into the pastry, mumbling. The other ponies nodded frequently. Really? Pinkie Pie still stared at Yunyan with her big eyes. Of course it's true, Pinkie. You should try it. Pinkie Pie took a bite, and her eyes lit up. It's delicious. It's delicious. Can you teach me? Yunyan? I've never had this before. Pinkie Pie hugged one of Yunyan's legs, her eyes full of expectation. Haha, of course. But you need to get up first. Yunyan used magic to lift Pinkie Pie again. Twilight, you said you had everything organized here, right? What about it? Twilight Sparkle looked puzzled, not knowing why Yunyan asked that. Then it's no problem. Just watch. Twilight Sparkle had forgotten to chew, and the pastries floating in the air fell to the ground. Then why don't we just use magic to arrange them directly? Pinkie Pie concluded, causing all the ponies present to look at Twilight Sparkle, since apart from Yunyan, Twilight Sparkle had the most powerful magic. It's nothing, Twilight, just a little trick. If you want to learn, I'll teach you next time. I came this time to ask if you're going to the Best Young Flyer competition. You're going to watch Rainbow-S Sonic Rainboom. Pinkie Pie exclaimed excitedly. Sonic Rainboom? What is that? Yunyan asked with confusion. Can a rainbow really create a sonic boom? Pinkie Pie kept jumping up and down, the other pony's eyes following her movements. The Sonic Rainboom is legendary. It happens only when a Pegasus flies super fast, like this. Pinkie Pie jumped high and landed heavily on the ground, kicking up some dust. The sonic boom and the rainbow appears simultaneously, and Rainbow Dash is the only pony who has ever done it. Applejack mentioned the creator of the legend. Sounds cool. I must see it for myself. Yunyan felt a bit curious and looked forward to it as they vividly described it. That was a long time ago. Back when I was little, Rainbow Dash felt shy, not daring to look at Applejack. You can still do it now, right? Pinkie Pie was very happy. Of course. I'm the best flyer in Cloudsdale. I could win with my eyes closed. She's not confident. Is she afraid of failing? Yunyan noticed Rainbow Dash's unnatural demeanor. The tension in her body was very palpable, felt very off. Oh, I need to excuse myself. I have to conserve my energy before the competition. And you? Better practice hard, my support team. Rainbow Dash pretended to be relaxed and quickly flew out of the window, followed by Fluttershy. She's lying, isn't she? Yunyan's expression became a bit unnatural. She really isn't confident, is she? Yunyan frowned. He didn't even need to look at the aura she was giving off. Her expression was already very telling. Rarity poked Twilight Sparkle with her horn. Hurry up. Hurry up. Twilight Sparkle was a bit at a loss. Hurry up for what? Of course, to find a spell to go to Cloudsdale and cheer for Rainbow Dash. Oh, but it was just organized. Where would I find a flying spell? Twilight Sparkle felt a sense of foreboding. I think I can do it. Yunyan interjected at the right moment. Wow, you can do that magic? Rarity was very happy. She already thought Yunyan was cool, and now he looked even cooler. Of course, because I'm going to watch that competition too. However, I can do two kinds. You can choose which one you want. Once everyone decided which kind they wanted, Yunyan cast his magic on everyone. But what he didn't know was that at the moment he released the magic, a wisp of magic escaped and flew outside. Wow, this is amazing. Yin and Twilight Sparkle slowly floated towards Cloudsdale, and even from below, they could easily see the stunning sight of Cloudsdale. Originally, Twilight Sparkle wanted to use a hot air balloon, but Yin silenced her with one question. Twilight, don't you know floating magic? Then Yin used floating magic to have Twilight Sparkle take him to the magnificent Cloudsdale. Hello, Rainbow Dash, your support team has arrived. Rainbow Dash, who was venting her emotions with Fluttershy, turned around to see Rarity flying. Rainbow Dash almost dropped her jaw. You can fly. Don't be so surprised. You have an ultra-luxurious support team too. Yin and Twilight Sparkle broke through the cloud layer and rose above. This is unbelievable. I really can't believe it. Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy were very surprised and couldn't stop being happy. This is so cool. You all came. Yin lifted the magic off everyone and they fell straight down. Hey, wait. Be careful. Yunbao wanted to stop Yin, but it was already too late. They landed on the cloud, but strangely, they didn't fall off. Instead, they stood firmly. How is this possible? Only Pegasi can walk on clouds, right? This scene surprised Yunbao even more. Pinkie Pie tumbled past Yunbao. Cool, right? I just cast a spell that lets us stand on the clouds. Yin chuckled. Indeed. Standing on the clouds is much more comfortable than on the ground. It's so soft. We needed flying magic to be your support team, but I couldn't find it. Just in time, Yin can do it, so he cast it. Twilight Sparkle explained everything. We are here to cheer for you. Go for it, Yunbao. Applejack cheered from the side. To be honest, I was a bit nervous before you all came, but now I feel much better. There's still some time before the competition. How about I show you around Cloudsdale? Yunbao's expression was quite unnatural, but her mouth was as hard as iron hooves. Everyone was very happy, and Yunbao led them cloud by cloud to the city in the sky. Rarity flew freely in the sky with her wings, which were made of spider silk and dewdrops. Looking very beautiful, Yin followed behind Twilight Sparkle, thinking, why didn't I think of using spider silk and dewdrops? The wings I made during my first attempt were so ugly. Wow, it seems your talent is great. Yin, you can release such magic in just one try. You should know that this kind of magic is quite difficult. You can do it too. Pinkie Pie slid past Yin, looking very funny. Oh, forget it. I can't fly, Yin laughed. Just kidding, I can barely walk on hooves, let alone using wings. Yin couldn't help but roll his eyes. Look, this is where the weather is made. Yunbao brought everyone to the weather factory, which looked like a workshop, but was filled with little ponies instead of machines. It was truly surprising. Yin wandered around, observing how everything was produced. Can they even control the weather? That's incredible. This is where rainbows are made. Yunbao led everyone to a place where rainbows float. Oh my gosh, rainbows. They can be made. Yin stopped in shock. Pinkie Pie couldn't contain her curiosity and dipped her hoof in some rainbow, taking a taste, and immediately her face turned several colors, and she was breathing fire. So spicy. Pinkie Pie ran around frantically, and everyone couldn't help but laugh. Rainbows aren't very tasty. Yunbao kept laughing. What a tiger. This girl. Yin couldn't help but chuckle. So lively. Look, who is this, Dizzy Bao? Yes, Yunbao, oh no. Dizzy Bao. Ha ha. 3 brown-black little ponies followed Rarity and came in front of Yunbao. Rarity, what did you say to these guys? Yunbao asked angrily. As these little ponies were not good ponies. Nothing, they were just praising my wings. Rarity kept showing off her beautiful wings. Yes, you should forget about your rainbow sonic boom and get wings like these. The 3 little ponies laughed and mocked Yunbao before wanting to leave. But when they tried to fly, a wall appeared above them out of nowhere. Being Pegasi, they flew fast, and the impact with the wall caused their heads to bump and swell. Who is it? Whose magic is this? This wall was deep blue, clearly formed by magic. Get down, apologize. A deep voice echoed, audible to all the ponies present. Yin's expression was somewhat terrifying, his pupils completely consumed by darkness. The deep blue wall wrapped around the 3 little ponies, capturing them and throwing them onto the cloud. The clouds were soft, so they weren't hurt. Don't do this. Yin, Twilight Sparkle, and the others hurried to stop Yin. But it seemed Yin couldn't hear them at all. I said apologize. Yin's demonic voice echoed, his pitch-black eyes fixed on the 3 little ponies. The 3 little ponies were frightened by Yin's aura and froze for a moment. Then they suddenly began to struggle and cry loudly. I'm sorry, Yunbao. We shouldn't have done this. Please let us go. Please let us go. The 3 little ponies were now in a very pathetic state, crying like babies. But they were scared. In that brief moment of daze, they had already fallen into an endless abyss. There, they faced death. There they were dominated. There they felt fear. Until Yin heard their apologies. His pitch-black eyes gradually cleared, and the magic binding them dissipated. They hurriedly crawled away from there. They could no longer fly. They had completely softened. They had lost the most important thing as Pegasi. Somewhere, the tree sprouted. What just happened? Yunyan was dizzy, seemingly unaware of the terrible thing he had just done. Thank you. I'm really glad you stood up for me, Yunyan. Yunbao said somewhat shyly, thanking Yunyan. Huh, it's nothing. This is what friends do. Yunyan actually didn't react much. He only knew that this scene felt very similar to what had happened to him before. When he was bullied, anger surged within him. After that, he remembered nothing. They reacted so strongly. They don't seem to be unhurt at all. Pinkie Pie raised a question at this moment. Yes, they seem to have gone through something. But you didn't do anything just now. Twilight Sparkle stroked her chin. She didn't feel the magic that Yunyan had just cast. He only made them apologize. In any case, they received the punishment they deserved. Applejack chuckled, not caring much about it. Let's go, girls. Let's check out the cloud workshop. Little Ro led everyone ahead, constantly comforting Yunbao. However, Yunbao's somewhat discouraged words made everyone a bit worried. Hey, Yunbao, why are you so worried? Yunyan chimed in. How could I? How could I be worried? Look at my wings. They are ugly and ordinary. How can I complete the rainbow sonic boom in the flying competition? Yunbao looked gloomy, almost making herself sound worthless. Hey, Yunbao, you're not ordinary. You are the chosen one of the element of harmony. You are born unique and one of a kind. It doesn't matter whether you complete it or not, as long as you have no regrets in your heart. Isn't that enough? Yunyan felt the melancholy emanating from Yunbao. The combination of gray and pale green made Yunyan feel very uncomfortable. The emotions he absorbed resonated with him, making him quite uneasy. Oh, come on. You have no idea what this competition means to me. If I fail, I'll be far from my dreams. Just as Yunyan was about to speak again, they had already arrived at the cloud workshop. Yunbao's mind was fully focused on the competition and how she would perform the rainbow sonic boom. Meanwhile, Rarity was constantly showing off her beautiful wings, even flying into the sunlight to let the rays shine on her wings, creating a dazzling display. At this moment, someone suggested that Rarity participate in the competition. The key was that she agreed. Well, I think this move from Rarity made Yunbao even more nervous. Yunyan's words made everyone unconsciously look at Yunbao, who was trembling as if frozen in a refrigerator. Are you okay, Yunbao? Twilight Sparkle asked with concern. Of course I'm fine. How could I be unwell? Everyone is paying attention to Rarity's wings, so they definitely won't notice me. It won't matter if I embarrass myself in the competition and lose. Yunbao lay on the ground, already rambling. All right, I can't take it anymore. My magic is emotion, and so is Rainbow Dash's. Can I manipulate it a bit? Yunyan thought for a moment and secretly gathered magic to attract the aura from Rainbow Dash. As the magic appeared, Rainbow Dash's aura was slowly drawn in by an invisible force, her fear and tension gradually entering Yunyan's body until most of it was absorbed. This made Yunyan unable to help but lean on the cloud. Oh, this feeling is so uncomfortable. I want to vomit. Hey, are you okay? Applejack immediately noticed Yunyan's discomfort and hurried over to push him. Cough, I'm fine. Does it feel better now, Rainbow Dash? Yunyan shook his head, swaying as he stood up. He just wanted to know if his actions had any effect. She seemed to be much better. How strange. Applejack glanced at Rainbow Dash, who had now stood up from her crouched position, looking much better, especially with Twilight Sparkle constantly comforting her, giving her renewed confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and warmly welcome the arrival of our beloved princess of the universe. The host, a Pegasus, pointed to a high platform. Celestia flew in from a distance and elegantly sat on the cloud, flanked by two guards that seemed to be the same two Pegasi that pulled the carriage last time. The princess of the universe, I didn't expect her to come. Teacher, Yunyan murmured. At this moment, he felt extremely fatigued, lying on the cloud next to Twilight and the others. The guest judges for this year's Best Young Flyer competition, the Lightning Pegasus team. 6 Pegasi dressed with lightning symbols quickly flew past the host, soaring into the sky and gathering together, then bursting apart to form a firework display. Now, let's see who can become the winner of this Best Young Flyer competition. A yellow pony flew out, continuously performing the meticulously practiced moves in the sky. At this moment, Yunyan had no interest in watching. Since he absorbed some of Rainbow Dash's emotions, he now felt very uncomfortable, his eyelids getting heavier and slowly closing. Hey, where am I? Yunyan opened his eyes to find himself in a green meadow, the entire world shrouded in night. Stars twinkled in the sky, and not far away stood a towering tree, surrounded by a lake reflecting the sky. It was incredibly beautiful. Yunyan vaguely saw a little pony sleeping next to that tree. I want to see her clearly. Who is she? She feels so familiar. Why can't I see her clearly? She's so blurry. Yunyan became anxious, running across the meadow. wanting to get closer to the little pony that made him feel so at ease. But no matter how he ran, the distance seemed unchanged. Why? Why hasn't the distance shortened? This strange phenomenon made Yunyan nervous. He felt scared. He was afraid he wouldn't be able to see her clearly. Right. I can use magic. I can do it. I must be able to. Yunyan reassured himself. Powerful magic gathered at his horn. A flash of magic was instantly released. But Yunyan didn't move at all. Why? Why did the magic fail? Work already, come on. The towering tree in the distance seemed to slowly dissolve into the night sky, making Yunyan even more anxious. Without the ability to use magic, he could only run desperately. He fell, got up, fell again, and got up again. The frantic running made Yunyan's hooves feel a bit uncomfortable, until he fell to the ground once more. When he stood up again, the towering tree had already disappeared, along with the little pony he wanted to see. No. Yunyan knelt on the ground, tears streaming down uncontrollably. He didn't know. He didn't know why he should run, or why he wanted to see that little pony. He only knew he had lost this opportunity. Yunyan slowly stood up, his body swaying unsteadily. The night shone on him. His wings, pierced by black spears, were broken. His body was covered in blood and scars. His left eye was blind. Scars marked his face. Blood still dripped from his horn. Where are you? I can't find you. Yunyan softly called out. Time. The world slowly showed cracks. In an instant, white light surged into the night sky. The entire world collapsed with a loud crash. Chapter 24. First encounter. Where are you? I don't want to lose you. How can I find you? This was my first time seeing him. He was like an antelope caught in a muddy river, at the mercy of the top predators in the river. He was so pitiful, so tragic. He might die there. But I felt as if I had turned into a little pony, unable to let him go. I wanted to use my magic. But I found it difficult to mobilize my magic in this strange world. I felt somewhat at a loss. After thinking for a long time, I used the magic that could read memories. I didn't know enough about this world. I needed to know where I was. When I read his memories, I finally understood the magnitude of this world. My first reaction was, dirty. Yes, dirty. But this human was innocent. Look at this pitiful human. Look at this poor creature bullied by others of his kind, abandoned by this world. He was so weak now, feeling his increasingly feeble breath, sensing his experiences. I couldn't help but feel a bit of the same for my own imprisonment. Then I decided to show mercy and save you. The one who should have used magic could not mobilize the magic within her body. You poor thing, when you wake up, you should thank your savior. Thinking back, it was quite amusing. He was so pitiful at that time, and I didn't expect that my first encounter with him would be in such circumstances. I carried him on my back and flew to the hospital. In that world, it was difficult to use magic, but my wings were already strong. When I delivered him to the hospital, I heard his murmurs. Is this an angel coming to take me to heaven? I didn't expect the angel to be a pony. How strange. Call me your majesty. At that time, I almost threw him down due to such disrespectful words. Luckily, I showed mercy. When I brought him to the hospital, some humans in white coats hurriedly took him inside. According to his memories, those should be doctors. When once again the lonely feelings began to fade, my numb heart gained a bit of color. When I went back to his world with renewed hope, he was being bullied. They were similar to him, but their hearts were dark. Watching them corner him and beat him harder made my previously expectant feelings turn into agitation. I manipulated magic and slammed them all against the wall, immobilizing them. Are you okay, poor thing? I looked down at him from a height. He looked utterly disheveled now. You are the angel pony from last time. After saying this, he fainted. How pathetic. At that time, I shook my head, feeling a bit of sympathy for this human who could no longer resist. I used magic once more, this time more fluidly than before. I healed the wounds on his body. When he woke up, he hugged me tightly. Thank you, angel pony. His strength was immense. He hugged me tightly. It seemed he hadn't embraced anyone for a long time. His embrace was so warm. I hadn't hugged anyone for nearly 1,000 years. But when I realized what was happening, I kicked him away, causing him to slide down against the wall, which made me want to laugh. I held it back and sternly said to him, stay away from me. Pitiful human. I only helped because I couldn't stand it. Thinking back, I hadn't changed my way of addressing myself then, and the words I said left him stunned. However, he quickly reacted. He looked around with a hint of disappointment. What? I'm not dead yet. At that time, I didn't know what to do. I only had his memories. I didn't understand feelings. I didn't know what kind of life he lived. He was very pessimistic, very numb. Like puppets in their world. Hey, are you okay? I'm fine, angel pony. Thank you for your help. He smiled a bit awkwardly, his voice very low. Are you regretting? Regretting that you didn't die? Damn, what is this situation? He smiled, looking very good and gentle. You're not going to try to fly away again, are you? His teasing voice rang out. But I still want to fly. Just as I was about to spread my wings again, he hugged me tightly. How rude of him. He just grabbed me. His hands were even touching my mane. I felt like a little cat with its fur standing on end, wanting to struggle out of his embrace. He meant no harm. Anyway, I couldn't be too far from him. Forget it. This is the last resort. Chapter 25. The tenderness I cannot reach when I stepped into his home. The world that should have been a single color became colorful. Although he looked haggard and dejected, this pitiful human's home radiated an incredible warmth. The warm-colored walls were very cozy, as if they could dispel all fatigue and worries. The sunset poured through the floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating every corner of the room, filling the entire space with brightness and vitality. This was something I could never see on that desolate planet. The hammock became the highlight of the room, gently swaying as if telling a story of leisure and tranquility. I could imagine sitting here for a while, letting my thoughts drift away with the breeze, slowly fading away. Feel free to sit. Although this home is a bit small, it has everything. I saw the pride in his eyes shining like stars for the first time, and I knew that this was something he had meticulously planned, artistically outlining it bit by bit. Perhaps, in his world, this cozy little home was one of the few safe havens. I skillfully crawled onto the sofa in his home. It was very soft, unlike the hard one from before. This softness was something I had longed for, making me reluctant to get up. He might have seen that I was satisfied with this place. He seemed very happy, but he simply sat quietly on the hammock by the floor-to-ceiling window. At that moment, I didn't pay much attention to him, just indulging in the softness of the sofa and gradually falling asleep. He made a bowl of noodles. After being imprisoned on that planet for almost 1,000 years, I once again caught a whiff of an incredibly tempting aroma. I unconsciously sat on the sofa, staring greedily at that bowl of noodles. It was quite a funny thing. The once proud me became so impolite because of food. Perhaps because he saw that I had woken up, or perhaps he noticed the longing in my eyes. He said nothing. He just smiled at me and quietly went into the kitchen to bring out a bowl of noodles. Thank you, Angel Pony. I usually stay home alone, so I don't have much food. I just boiled some random stuff. At that time, I couldn't think of much, just the delicious food. I only remembered that when I finished eating, my mouth was full of grease, which made him laugh uncontrollably. I scolded him a bit shyly. What are you laughing at? You pitiful human. But he laughed even harder at the sight of me. At that time, I still didn't know that my body had changed. I was just a white light ball with a bit of a unicorn shape. And feeling somewhat embarrassed, I blushed. He knew I was a bit shy. So was I? You're too rough, aren't you? Looking at him sitting on the hammock, gently applying ointment to his wounds and gasping in pain made me laugh out loud. He was like a mother soothing a baby, gently applying the ointment. That ridiculous and exaggerated expression made it hard for me to hold back. Who told you to laugh at me? I was just a bit surprised because I hadn't eaten for a long time. At that time, I pouted like a child. But he stopped his movements and slowly leaned closer to me. His serious expression made me a bit uneasy. Hey, I know I was wrong. Isn't that enough? Don't come closer. Watching him get closer made me a bit flustered, so I stood up from my seated position. Seeing him raise his hand scared me, and I immediately used my wings to shield myself. The expected slap didn't land on my wings. I trembled and opened my eyes. He just gently pushed my wings aside and used a piece of paper to softly wipe the grease from the corner of my mouth. I was a bit dazed. How long had it been since someone treated me with such tenderness that I almost forgot? I was just a little pony in need of companionship. You should have said it earlier, Angel Pony. Then I wouldn't tease you. In that moment, it felt as if time had stopped flowing, and the distance between us had never been so close. I saw his gentle smile for the first time. In that instant, it shattered my heart's walls. I was moved. After he carefully wiped the grease from my mouth with several pieces of paper, he slowly got up and brought a bag of snacks from the room. Here. A little snack. He was full of tenderness. His tenderness was somewhat overwhelming, and I realized how long it had been since I had been treated like this. At that moment, I really almost cried. I held it back. I didn't want to embarrass myself. I just accepted the bag of snacks from him. It was labeled potato chips, but without magic, I didn't know how to open it. I wanted to try using my hooves, but I found I didn't have fingers. I thought about biting it open, but that seemed too rude. I looked up at him. He was smiling. He silently opened the bag of potato chips for me. After trying a bite, I suddenly discovered a new world. So delicious. My eyes lit up as I sat on the sofa, using my hooves to grab the chips, putting them into my mouth one by one. He stood there quietly watching me. When I stopped eating, I felt a bit embarrassed to meet his gaze. He just handed me a cup of water. Oh. He made me open my mouth like a child, but of course, I didn't want to. I wanted him to place the cup between my hooves. He refused, saying it would easily slip down. Already a bit choked up, I had to comply and open my mouth as he gently brought the cup a little closer to feed me. That made my face flush. He saw it too, but he was very happy. After drinking the water, I lowered my head, reluctant to meet his eyes, Such actions were too intimate for someone who had never known love. I shyly didn't dare to look up. The atmosphere became awkward until he broke the silence. Angel Pony, it seems like you're going to disappear again. His voice became a bit forlorn. I also became sad. Seeing his unhappiness, I flew up and for the first time hugged him with my wings. Don't be sad. I might come back again. He hugged me back, seeming a bit reluctant. He didn't speak, only endless silence. Don't be sad. I'll perform a magic trick for you. I struggled to channel the magic within me. The weak magic gathered on my horn. With a burst of magic, the entire ceiling of the room transformed into a night sky, making the cozy room become fantastical. This is my gift to you. Thank you. After saying this, I had already disappeared from this world. I didn't hear his last words. Will we meet again? I was lying down. That was my last thought at that moment. I wasn't sure, and I couldn't control this power that could take me across time and worlds. Chapter 26. Embarrassing moments. I recklessly unleashed my malicious magic on this desolate planet, turning the rough ground into a pockmarked mess filled with holes, until I was exhausted and collapsed on a hilltop. The view here was great, effectively keeping those creatures at bay. I missed you a bit, human. I smiled. Filled with anticipation, closed my eyes, thinking that today's madness should quiet them down a bit. Where is this? So comfortable. I felt dizzy. My consciousness gradually becoming clear. Slowly, I opened my heavy eyelids, trying to see my surroundings. However, when I truly opened my eyes, I was stunned to find myself in a pool of hot water. Splash! Suddenly, a crisp and loud sound came from behind. This unexpected noise made me alert, and my body involuntarily tensed up. Slowly, I turned my body, feeling a bit nervous and confused, and cast my gaze behind me. When I saw the scene before me, I couldn't help but widen my eyes. There stood a figure quietly, holding a pure white bath towel in his hand, just as he was about to ask something. A sharp and piercing scream suddenly cut through the air. The sound seemed to penetrate the walls, and caught off guard. He shivered and nearly fell to the ground. Get out of here! My furious voice echoed throughout the bathroom. This made him immediately react and close the bathroom door. I lay in the bathtub, with half my head exposed. My hair, which should have been flowing, felt stuck to my body. My mind went blank, and I remained silent for a long time. What made it even more embarrassing was that I was in a pool of water, completely soaked, and that guy was also present, witnessing my utterly awkward state. Just thinking about it made my cheeks flush like ripe apples, feeling as if they were on fire. I really wished there was a crack in the ground I could crawl into and never come out to face this embarrassing situation again. I only thought of giving you a hot bath because I saw you covered in stains this morning. After all, before this, you were always pure and spotless. But this morning some dust-like colors appeared on you. So, I tried to gently wipe those dirty spots with water, and to my surprise, a miracle happened. The areas I wiped instantly regained their original white luster. That's why I put you in the bathtub, hoping to give you a thorough clean bath. He explained in a serious tone. However, at that moment, I was already blushing and felt ashamed, wishing I could find a hole to hide in. Faced with his words, I couldn't respond calmly, so I quickly buried my head deep in the water, as if that could cover up my inner shyness and embarrassment. I even felt like I was about to turn into a steaming hot pot, emitting waves of heat. At that moment, my mind was occupied with one thought. He wiped my body. Although the water in this tub is indeed incredibly comfortable, it seems that I ended up being the one at a disadvantage. I thought to myself, a sense of inexplicable irritation rising within me. I couldn't help but flap my wings, tightly wrapping my head. I only emerged from the tub when I felt I was almost done. Actually, the water had already cooled. Toss in the bath towel. My voice carried a hint of indifference. As soon as I finished speaking, he seemed to immediately understand my intention. Quickly picking up a bath towel that was as white as snow and as soft as clouds, and without hesitation, threw it into the bathroom. I nimbly caught the flying towel with the corner. Then, I slowly used my weak magic to make the towel wrap around my wet body as if it were alive. Every inch of my skin was covered in warm fluff, as if it were being gently protected by a soft force. After wrapping myself in the towel, I walked lightly to a huge mirror, wanting to examine my current self. What is going on? How did I end up like this? A strange sound escaped my lips, and upon hearing my voice, he immediately rushed into the bathroom. He paused for a moment, looking a bit puzzled, and touched his chin. You looked like this when I first saw you. That's why I said you had stains on your pure body. I quickly calmed down. Perhaps this was just my projection in this world. It's time to eat. I made you dessert. Come try it. His gentle voice rang out. You prepared so early? Although I couldn't really mobilize my magic at that time, I could still sense the time. The sun hadn't even come up yet. Can't sleep? Come try it. I made it especially for you. A smile appeared at the corner of my mouth. Get out. I need to take off the towel. He looked a bit confused. What's the difference? You usually wear nothing anyway. It's hard, my hoof is hard. I slowly approached him, gathering strength. I kicked out in one motion. He was directly kicked onto the sofa. Oomph, foolish human. I silently cursed in my heart, lightly huffing with some anger and dissatisfaction. I gently unveiled the towel, letting it drift to the ground like a soft cloud. Then, I walked leisurely towards the dining table filled with delicious food. Just as I was about to pick up a delicate round pastry, suddenly, he appeared beside me in the blink of an eye, staring at me with anticipation. The pastry poised to go into my mouth. If you stare at me like that, how can I swallow it? He, aware of the awkwardness, turned his head away. I took a small bite. Crispy. So delicious. I suppressed my excitement and swallowed the entire dessert. What is this? He looked at me expectantly. This is called cream puff. I replied absent-mindedly. His expression changed instantly. The excitement and anticipation in his eyes dimmed, as if crushed by an invisible force. I could clearly feel him becoming a bit dejected, his previously straight shoulders slightly drooping, seeming to lose all spirit and vitality. Can you feed me? It's quite tasty. I can't do it myself. The cold words were filled with ambiguity, and seeing him so disappointed, I blurted it out without thinking. I was a bit incredulous that I could say such a thing. He suddenly looked up and smiled gently. Okay. Chapter 27. You are like the past me, full of scars and emptiness. By the way, why do you want to go out with me? You could have stayed at home all along. I strolled leisurely through the bustling streets, accompanied by a small, delicate horse, about the height of my waist. My expression darkened a bit, and I frowned as I said, So, your past life wasn't very pleasant? His voice carried a hint of concern and sympathy. However, the little horse just smiled lightly, seemingly unconcerned about my worries. It shook its head and said cheerfully, Hey, don't be such a downer. Don't you understand? Besides, you're not doing much better either. The horse's eyes revealed a sense of relief and carefree spirit after experiencing hardships. Just then, without warning, I reached out my hand, as quick as lightning, and accurately caught the little horse soaring in the sky. Then, I pulled it tightly into my arms. This sudden move startled the little horse, its wings still unfurled, covering me beside it. However, I seemed to be unfazed by the horse's reaction, just smiling gently and saying, Let us go. No class today. I'll take you out to have fun. With a thud, it hit me solidly on the head, but I still didn't let go. Instead, hugging the little horse tighter. I just want to hug you. Is that okay? I smiled. Yet the sadness in my eyes pierced deep into my heart. Under his gaze, I suddenly felt at a loss, my previously restless heart gradually calming down. After a moment of silence, I took a deep breath and softly said, Forget it. Just loosen up a bit. I need to fold these wings. While speaking, I tried to move my body that he was holding tightly, but found my movements a bit stiff. He seemed to sense my discomfort, slowly loosening his arms while still carefully protecting me, as if afraid I might accidentally fall. Yunyan squinted at the corners of his eyes, showing no attempt to hide his joy. What is your name, little horse? I always call you and I, which feels so awkward, since I arrived in this new world. Even though these humans don't seem threatening, I might as well pick a name. My name is Time. Once a princess, but imprisoned for committing a crime, and it has been nearly 700 years. The words I and you were titles and customs from that time. And despite the passage of time, I still find it hard to change my way of speaking. Time held her head high, gazing proudly at Yunyan, feeling quite pleased with her noble identity. Imprisoned? Yunyan's eyes turned a bit confused. He softly repeated the word, as if it held some special meaning. The corners of his eyes drooped slightly, making it impossible to glimpse his true thoughts. However, from the way he tightly held the little horse in his arms, it was evident that he was in a state of extreme unease. Hey, you're holding too tight. Time tried to remind Yunyan, but unconsciously changed how she addressed him. Perhaps it was because she realized the subtle shift in their relationship. Or maybe she was trying hard to adapt to a new way of interacting. She struggled to lift her hoof, pressing it against Yunyan's chin, hoping to catch his attention. Yunyan seemed oblivious to Time's actions, still lost in his thoughts. His arms were like iron clamps, firmly locking onto the little horse, as if afraid to lose her. Loosen up a bit. All right. I just wanted to hold you tighter. Yunyan took off running with Time in his arms. Despite looking like someone who was always bullied, he had surprisingly good physical fitness, which puzzled Time, clearly capable of resisting. Yet he didn't take action. Have you given up? Where are you taking me? Time asked, filled with suspicion. Of course, to the amusement park. Didn't you say you've been imprisoned for a long time? So I specially brought you here to let you see the new and interesting ways to have fun in this world. Yunyan showed rare excitement as he spoke, eagerly sprinting toward the massive amusement rides in the distance. Buying tickets, checking tickets, all in one go. They seem not to see you. Yunyan questioned while holding Time. Who knows? Ever since I came to this world, only you can see me, and I can't be too far from you," Time said somewhat irritably, tapping Yunyan with her hoof. Yunyan awkwardly smiled and somehow produced a box of dumplings from behind him. Time flew up from Yunyan's embrace to take the golden dumplings from his hand. If someone had noticed, they would have seen the dumplings that were originally in Yunyan's hand disappear. Delicious. Time had no resistance to the food in this world. As if the dumplings had some inexplicable magic that made her unable to stop. Yunyan watched Time as her pure white little horse body flashed a hint of crimson. He could feel it was happiness. Her scarred and hollow heart was being filled. Yunyan felt very pleased. This was a heartfelt smile after many years. She was like her former self, and Yunyan felt like he was saving his past self. Chapter 28. You are an important person in my heart, and I am willing to give you my loyalty and sincerity. What a bummer. After going around, the best thing in the amusement park is the food. Yunyan followed behind with a somewhat unnatural expression, poured himself a glass of water, and sat on the hammock in front of the floor-to-ceiling window. The amusement park's attractions made him a bit uncomfortable. But isn't what's important not those things? Yunyan took a deep breath and slowly said. His voice was soft yet firm, as if conveying a deep-seated belief to the little horse. The evening light poured through the window, creating patches of golden light in the room. The sun outside was gradually setting, and the afterglow painted the sky in shades of orange and red. This window provided an excellent perspective to fully appreciate the beautiful sunset. Yunyan's gaze was involuntarily drawn to the scene outside. He quietly stared at the gradually fading light. Lost in thought. Honestly, I should take you up to the sky to fly, then you would understand that those things are no faster than my wings. Time lifted her head to look at the energy-like pure white wings, feeling curious about why her body had changed like this since arriving here. Yunyan? What are you thinking about? Time gently tapped Yunyan's head. Don't touch my head. I'm just thinking about some things. Time crawled onto the hammock, leaning closely against Yunyan. Do you like dusk? Well, on the contrary, I prefer staring at the sky alone at midnight. I thought you would like it. Yunyan casually placed his hand on Time's mane, gently stroking it. Time's fur bristled a bit, and she pushed Yunyan's hand away angrily. Why do you always want to touch me? I heard you say you like the night. Time suddenly leaned closer, intensely staring at Yunyan. Yunyan felt a bit nervous under her gaze, not understanding why Time was suddenly acting like this. Yes, because I often suffer from insomnia. I really like to stare at the dark night with some starlight. I really like that gift from last time. Thank you, Time. Yunyan expressed his gratitude to Time. He genuinely cherished that night sky, as he and T rested all night, which caused him to skip school the next day. Do you want to see a sky like that? Time immediately inquired, already prepared. Of course I do, but even if you could turn the entire ceiling into that, you couldn't change the whole sky, right? Thanks for your kindness. Look to the distance, Yunyan. Then, a bright full moon rose quickly like lightning, occupying the entire sky in an instant. It emitted a bright, yet soft light, dispelling the surrounding darkness. The moonlight cascaded throughout the room like silver gauze, illuminating every corner. Even more astonishing was that this moon was flawless, without a single blemish. It hung in the night sky like a smooth jade plate, exuding a mysterious and enchanting aura. No way. Yunyan was completely stunned, while Time suddenly fell onto him, and he reflexively caught her. Hey, what's wrong, Time? Yunyan called out anxiously, feeling scared and unsure of what was wrong with Time. Don't shake me, I'm just a bit sleepy. After saying this, Time fell into a deep sleep in Yunyan's arms. Yunyan slowly calmed down, understanding that the rise of the moon must be related to Time. Silly Time. None of this is as important as you. Yunyan didn't know why, perhaps out of compassion for his past self. But he understood that Time had already carved out a place in his heart. He gently placed her on the bed and covered her up. I wonder if you're used to this bed. He quietly closed the door and sat on the hammock, gazing at the distant night sky. Never had the night sky been so beautiful. Perhaps it was a gift from someone else. Thus, the meaning of this night sky had long changed. Thank you, Time. Get away, you little bugs. A figure in purple-black was slaughtering mercilessly on the moon, attacking endlessly from the sky down to the ground. On the surface of the moon were many unknown creatures. She didn't understand why there were so many creatures on the moon, which was supposed to be inhabited only by moon spirits. They seemed endless, some resembling little horses, some moon spirits, dragons, vultures, and griffins. They almost encompass all the creatures inside Little Maria. However, they have no thoughts and only know how to continuously spread a kind of energy. This energy can instill fear in a creature, causing it to rapidly spread as a parasite, yet whether awake or not. She will ruthlessly kill these things that cannot be called creatures on the moon. She refers to them as material beasts. When she is awake, she often cleans up these creatures to protect the moon spirits. Get away. A little pony wrapped around her, pulling her down from the air. And more material beasts transformed into a tangible energy coiled around her, making it impossible for her to break free. More and more material beasts tangled around Time's body, covering her completely until darkness filled her eyes. No. Chapter 29, you gave me your tenderness, and I am willing to protect you for a lifetime. Time. Union anxiously called out, his body trembling, while Time kept mumbling incoherently. The moment she let out that heart-wrenching scream, Union rushed to Time's side at an incredible speed. He gently cupped Time's face, trying to awaken her from the nightmare. However, Time seemed completely immersed in her own world, unresponsive to Union's calls. Her eyes were dazed and hollow, her lips trembling slightly, as if she was trying to say something but couldn't be heard. Union's brow furrowed, filled with worry and anxiety. Union. Time suddenly jumped up from the bed like a startled rabbit. Her once pure white body now had a hint of darkness swirling within it. This darkness seemed almost alive. However, this eerie sight lasted only a brief moment before the darkness vanished like a ghost. It was as if all traces of their existence had been erased, as if they had never existed at all. Yet, in that fleeting moment, it seemed that something else had also disappeared along with them. What is wrong, Time? Union's heart felt like it was being gnawed by thousands of ants, anxiously asking, his eyes full of concern. Time seemed to sense Union's anxiety and worry. She trembled slightly, hesitated as she looked at Union, and then, as if determined, she suddenly rushed into Union's arms, holding him tightly. Union was startled by this sudden embrace but quickly reacted, gently patting Time's back, continuously comforting her. She radiated fear and unease, that emotion nearly becoming a physical entity. This was the first time Union had seen such intense emotion. I had a dream, in which I almost couldn't see you. Time's voice trembled, holding Union tightly, as if she would lose her treasure at any moment. Union paused slightly. She is afraid of not seeing me. I'm here, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Union gently stroked Time's back, again and again, as if comforting a frightened child. He could feel Time's body trembling slightly, her emotions gradually calming down. Finally, Union slowly loosened his grip, but Time seemed unwilling to let go, still tightly hugging Union. Union smiled helplessly. He knew Time had not fully emerged from the emotions she just experienced. He carefully picked Time up, a bit laborious since she was as tall as the crouching Union. But Union still held her steadily, walking step by step out of the room. Holding Time, he slowly made his way to the kitchen. All right, are you still planning to stay in my arms? Union's words were a bit teasing, which made Time realize that she might have been too proactive. Her originally pure white cheeks suddenly flushed pink. Reluctantly, she let go of Union. Union noticed that Time seemed a bit restless, so he slowly squatted down, gazing at her with an extremely gentle look. Suddenly, without warning, he extended his arms, swiftly and firmly lifting Time up. This unexpected move caused Time to let out a small gasp. It's okay, just stay on my back, Union said gently. We still have to go to school today. Can we just grab something to eat? Union tilted his head and softly asked. Time was a bit confused by Union's series of actions. She just lightly hummed in response. Although her voice was soft, Union clearly felt the shift in Time's emotions. The initial unease was gradually dissipating, replaced by shyness and joy. At this moment, Time, lying on Union's back, buried her little head deep into his broad back, her cheeks already flushed with a charming hue. He smells so good. I really like the scent on him, Time thought, a bit dazed, secretly marveling. She greedily inhaled the unique fragrance on Union, as if she could never get enough. All right, blueberry jam sandwich, here. Union turned his head and brought a sandwich to Time's mouth. Gurgle. Time's stomach conveniently growled. Although I somewhat enjoy being on his back, be composed. Be composed. You are a princess. You can't be so rude. Time hurriedly extinguished the thought of wanting to stay on Union's back and flew up from his back. She took a bite, savoring this novel food for her. Time's tone became a bit calmer. She didn't want to go, but for some reason, she had to finish high school. Look, who is this? Our young master of the U family. Why didn't he come in limping today? As soon as Union arrived at this so-called high school, he was met with piercing sarcasm. It would be more accurate to call it a social gathering established by various powerful families in Xia City. There were many unimaginably powerful individuals here. Union had once been a prominent figure among them. The Yu family's power was ranked alongside the other four families in Xia City: Lin, Yi, Shi, and Long. But in terms of strategy and power, the Yu family was the foremost in Xia City. The Lin family was known for arms, the Yi family for skills, the Shi family for various jewelry, jade, antiques, and other curiosities, maintaining connections with all major families. The Long family was a military family. The Yu family's disappearance might have some connection with them. Time flew from behind Union to his front, filled with confusion and disbelief. Who is that? And why is he speaking so harshly? That's Tianzhong, the eldest son of the Tian family. He once tried to curry favor with me to climb up the family ladder. He was too eager. Anyone who comes to this high school is not a good person. We all know what he is thinking. I rejected him. After my family's disappearance, he was the most outstanding among those trying to curry favor with my family. Don't mind him, Time. Let's go. In the eyes of others, Yunyan was like a solitary dancer, standing quietly, reaching out a hand into the air, as if holding onto something. People looked at him in confusion, not knowing what he was grasping. Look, everyone. Quickly look at this young master of the Yu family. Doesn't he have a mental problem? He is actually reaching out to the air, thinking he can catch something. It's just too ridiculous. Tianzhong ruthlessly mocked Yunyan, seemingly wanting to vent his inner dissatisfaction and resentment in this way. His voice was sharp and grating, causing a stir among the crowd. Yunyan did not retreat in the face of Tianzhong's ridicule. He continued to stretch out his hand, his eyes revealing a sense of disdain. He seemed unconcerned about the opinions of those around him, focusing solely on the goal in his heart. Seeing that Yunyan showed no reaction, Tianzhong became even more pleased with himself. He felt he had finally found an opportunity to embarrass Yunyan and to seek some comfort for the grievances he had suffered in the past. Thus, he became even more reckless in his verbal attacks on Yunyan, trying to use this method to prove that he was superior to Yunyan. However, Yunyan's heart remained exceptionally calm. Compared to the torment of those people, your words truly feel like a tickle. After saying this, Yunyan pulled Time, wanting to head towards the teaching building. But Time suddenly shook off Yunyan's hand and slowly spread her wings to fly up. Some people, damn it. In Yunyan's eyes, Time's originally pure white body turned slightly crimson, and a trace of darkness flashed in her eyes. The originally clear sky became overcast. Crack. Boom. A bolt of lightning struck down, hitting the ground about 4 to 5 meters away from Tianzhong. Although this lightning did not strike a person, the unimaginable current paralyzed Tianzhong, leaving him limp on the ground. The lightning in the sky continued to gather, seemingly charging up for the next attack. Yunyan felt that something was wrong. He could sense that Time now felt strange, as if she were not the Time he knew. Her body seemed to have changed in some places, and her unique horn had become sharper. No, Yunyan sighed softly. Time stopped and tilted her head, looking at Yunyan with some confusion, as if asking why. Thank you. Time, you don't have to fall into a coma for such a trivial matter, okay? Yunyan slowly raised his hand, trembling slightly, reaching out to Time. He smiled, tears streaming down the corners of his eyes. At that moment, Yunyan felt truly alive. In the real sense, it turned out that being cared for by someone felt so wonderful. Chapter 30, I don't care what I was like before. That is already the past. And now, I love you deeply. Time, who was originally prepared to unleash a second bolt of lightning, slowly descended. Although she had only used magic once, it still left her feeling somewhat exhausted. This world is so unfriendly to magic, it can't be fully utilized. Otherwise, I should have electrocuted that brat with the first strike. It seems I need to use magic more to rationalize it in this world, Time thought to herself. Glancing at the tearful Yunyan, seeing Yunyan in such a state made her heart ache. I want to kill that brat even more now. She gently loosened her stiff hoof, flew in front of Yunyan, and lightly wiped his tears away with her wings. Don't cry, silly. What's there to cry about? I'm here, Time said softly, her voice carrying a hint of tenderness and concern. Then, she gently extended her hoof to tightly embrace Yunyan. Time's embrace was so warm that it brought Yunyan an unprecedented sense of security. Yunyan quietly felt her body warmth and breath. His tears gradually stopped, and his mood slowly calmed down. Time, like a gentle big brother, continuously stroked Yunyan's hair, as if telling him that everything would be all right. Under Time's comfort, Yunyan's emotions slowly began to release. He started to realize that he was not alone, and this feeling made him cherish it even more. As his emotions settled, Yunyan slowly raised his head to look into Time's eyes. He found that her gaze was filled with sincerity and kindness. Let's go to the classroom. Yunyan broke free from Time's hoof and walked with her, constantly wiping the tears from the corners of his eyes. You don't know what your existence means to me. You don't know how much what you've done for me makes me want to live. You don't know that you are irreplaceable in my heart. This weather is really strange. It's raining so heavily all of a sudden. Yunyan blew hot air onto his hands and rubbed his arms. He was now completely soaked, like a drenched chicken. Time had also become a drenched horse. Her originally flowing mane now clung to her body. Yunyan hurriedly fetched a soft towel from the bathroom, carefully draping it over Time. He whispered, "You mustn't catch a cold. A cold is no joke." Unknowingly, perhaps from a particular moment, the ice deep within my heart quietly melted. The high walls I had built began to gradually collapse, and my guard against him slowly disappeared, treating him as my own. Perhaps at that time, I could no longer let him face this malicious world alone. Time proudly lifted her head, her eyes revealing a hint of confidence and pride. I am a unicorn, possessing a strong physique. How could I catch a cold? Her voice carried an undeniable tone. Yunyan couldn't help but laugh at Time's proud appearance. He said softly, "Yes, yes, yes, noble unicorn princess, you certainly won't catch a cold. But for now, can you please hurry and take a bath, okay?" As he spoke, he affectionately stroked Time's mane. When he had just fetched the towel for Time, he had already turned on the hot water in the bathroom. At this moment, warm steam filled the air, spilling out from the bathroom and warming the entire house. "And you? You're wet too. I'll go change my clothes first. You go wash up, it's fine." Yunyan walked straight towards his room to find his clothes. Time thought for a moment and then entered the bathroom. "Time, I want to see your life." Yunyan pressed against the bathroom door, saying what he had wanted to say for a long time. Time, who had been enjoying the hot water, fell silent upon hearing Yunyan's words. She was hesitant to let Yunyan see. What if he sees and gets scared of me? What if he drives me away? Time gradually sank into the water, the calm hot water continuously bubbling until it disappeared. "Time," Yunyan called softly again. After a long silence, Yunyan sighed. "I guess I still can't be too impatient." Suddenly, the door swung open. A rush of heat hit Yunyan's face. Yunyan, who had been leaning against the door, was caught off guard by this sudden situation and was about to crash onto the hard bathroom floor. Just as he was about to hit the ground, a faint blue light enveloped him, slowly lifting him up and setting him right. Yunyan couldn't help but look at Time. Her horn once again appeared on her head. And the unicorn, a creature that only existed in legends, shocked Time when she saw it up close for the first time. However, Time anxiously stared into Yunyan's eyes, her whole body radiating fear. "Do you really want to know?" Yunyan was stunned. Time was very scared. What was she afraid of? "Yes." Without hesitating too long, Yunyan nodded firmly. "Can you promise that after you know, you won't abandon me?" Time's trembling voice echoed again. Yunyan was taken aback. He suddenly hugged the still damp Time tightly. He softly comforted her. "No matter what you were like before or what mistakes you made, to me, that's still you. You are the one I want to protect. That's enough." Yunyan held Time tightly, genuinely wanting to know what she had experienced. "Okay," Time gently replied, and a beam of light illuminated the entire house. When the light faded, they found themselves on the bed, embracing each other and falling into a deep sleep.